You are live. That's what it says.
We are live. Hello.
Oh my
Hello,
God.
Ash.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm an
Hi.
alcoholic.
Hi, I'm Marilyn. I'm a lot of holics going on. I'm an approvalaholic, a foodaholic, a coffeeaholic, a yarnaholic. I could be here all day, but yes, cheers. Cheers.
Okay,
We've
well,
got our
now I got to get
styrofoam.
my AA saying back in. Hi, Marilyn, which everybody else would say. It would go, hi, I'm Ashley. I'm an alcoholic. And then you would say, hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Yeah. And then you say way less than you just said.
Okay.
Go.
Because I talk a
And
lot.
no, it's fine. I was just doing an example. And then I'll say,
Okay.
hi, Marilyn.
And then what happens?
And then the meeting starts. I'm doing so. If you haven't been to an AA meeting or any other 12-step meeting,
I've been to 3 with a really super hot coffee. That's all I remembered. Was the styrofoam cups with your name on it. Super hot boiling coffee with powdered creamer, which I put in here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You are legit. You're like too legit to quit. You went the extra mile, and I appreciate it. I feel like
I'm here for it all.
Should we introduce both of our channels since it's
Sure,
streaming
yes.
on both?
Absolutely. Yeah. So
You go
this
first.
is Ashley Love Richard. Oh, so we're gonna introduce each other or our own? Okay, our own. Okay.
Or I don't know, however you want to
Well,
do
you
it.
know more about your channel than I do. So, okay. I'm Marilyn Honig of Coffee, Cults, and Crafts. A way you can remember it is coffee first, right? And a cult sandwich, because we talk about cults and coercive groups and all kinds of culty things in the cultiverse. And also crafts, because I crochet, I do all kinds. You see the yarn behind me, and yeah, I am a cult survivor, and had a lot of other trauma too. So I'm here for it all to talk about it and hopefully heal and hang out with all of you, and maybe we'll all get something out of it today. So, Ash, who are you?
Yeah,
How are you?
so hi you guys. If you are watching on my stream, which you might have noticed changed names like 4 times in the last 2 days because I'm super fucking indecisive. Shoot. How long does it have to be until I swear into the episode on YouTube?
Oh, I don't know. Denver's in here. He probably knows.
Okay.
Denver, when can we swear?
I was thinking I have to be careful of my potty mouth.
Some say 30 seconds, some say 30 minutes. So I don't know. Maybe 15. Let's do 15.
Okay. I'll try to keep it clean. So if anybody is watching on my channel it's now called Cults and Coercion. No, sorry. Coercion and Control with Ashley Love Richards. Thank you guys so much for watching and welcome. I am Ashley Love Richards, host of That's So Blanked Up. It says it right behind me. A podcast about cults, murder, and other generally blanked up stuff. 4 minutes. Okay. I gotta wait 20 more
Just
seconds.
swear. You know what? I don't care if it gets demonetized. Who cares?
No,
it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
I think I can wait 30 more seconds. But my podcast is about cults, murder, and other things that make you say that's so effed up. It's been going on for 3.5 years. We have almost 400 episodes, and at least 80 of those are about cults, coercion, or high control groups. Fuck yeah. Thanks, Denver, Steve-O.
4 minutes. To save. Thank you.
So yeah, you guys,
Denver.
it's called That's So Fucked Up. And yeah, if you're on Marilyn's channel, hi you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I'm super excited to share my AA stories. I've had a lot of very interesting revelations lately, you might say.
Oh, there's that word. I'm going to write down every time you say a Bible word.
Oh, I love it.
I'm going to write
love
it down.
That. That's so fun.
Okay.
And yeah, so over 80 of the episodes are on cult-like groups. I did say that I said in the description of my channel that I would explain in the first episode why it's not called cults and coercion or cults and control or anything like that. I'm actually trying to move a little bit away from the word cult unless it's referring to
Michelle.
I mean, some cults are just fucking cults, right? Like NXIVM, Scientology. We got to call a cult a cult. But I think there's a lot of other things that are very cult-like that are not necessarily cults. And even some of the groups that are cult-like can be positive, dare I say, which I will talk about AA. Pardon me, guys. I have like a nervous sniff that I get on like when things are live. I'm gonna work on it. So
you'll get used to it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to kind of talk more about groups that are coercive, high control. You know, hi Michelle. Michelle's on here. She talks about MLMs a lot. I'm hooking up with Meg Applegate from Unsilenced next year, and Peggy, who's on here, and one of my co-hosts, Fallon, and our friend Lindsay, and probably you, Marilyn, maybe. We're all working on a troubled,
all the things.
Yes, we're working on a troubled teen industry segment. I think AA was kind of culty, kind of controlling, but it wasn't coercive. I wouldn't put it in the same group as the Pentecostal cult you were in, Marilyn, or the Pentecostal group. And I also think that it's very up to everyone whether or not they think they were in a cult. I heard something really interesting on shit. I can't remember the name. It's a podcast. Why am I doing like the politician hand? You know, like this is America.
You're serious.
We love it.
Serious shit.
Yeah. Anyways, gosh, I lost my train of thought. So I want to start. Oh yeah, I heard an interesting thing. People said it's up to an individual whether or not they were in a cult. And I thought that was so interesting because maybe you went to a lower level Scientology and NXIVM course or NXIVM course and it helped your fucking marriage, you know, or maybe you went to AA and it did help you get sober like me, which I'll get into. Or maybe you were in a very high control religion, but you were only in it for a little bit, or your parents, you know, were like kind of, oh, we claim it, but we don't really do it, you know. I think it's really up to people's own experience whether they were in like a cult or not. And then we make a joke on my podcast all the time. It's not a cult, it's just a podcast, but really it's a cult. We are pretty fucking culty. We went on a retreat to Florida together. Some of the editors and researchers and our girl Nikki, who's just a fucking hype woman. And we all just we're like, well, you know, maybe somebody will get murdered because we don't fucking know each other. You know, Peggy was
Right,
there.
yeah.
And we were going to get matching tattoos. And I was like, well, that's culty as shit. And we would have done it, but we didn't have time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I've got merch that says never in and all that. My kids don't know what the hell supreme ruler means and all that, you know? It's like there's even, you know, even anti-cult language and inside jokes and, you know.
Oh, yeah, which I will get all into. I love this message, comment from Michelle that I just did that. I just put that up, you guys. That was exciting.
See, you're learning so fast. You're learning so fast.
She says, Ash, hey, I lost 85 pounds in beach body, and it really helped my chronic pain. But importantly, I've kept it off without the cult shit, which is a great segue because I do think that AA, for me in the beginning, was incredibly helpful. I actually would probably say that it saved my life at a point. I was desperately alcoholic, ruining everything in my life. I don't know if you can put up that picture that I shared with you, Marilyn, or
Oh,
if that's like
yeah. Hold on.
advanced.
Just give me
I
a
don't know.
minute. Yeah, it is advanced
Okay.
for me,
Oh,
but I will
no, okay,
figure
you
it
don't
out.
have to do that.
I
I
can do
found a
it.
bunch of pictures that are okay. Um, from like my drinking days, and it's wow, it's very night and day. But I was definitely, when I tried to get sober at 27, I am 36 now. I was going to a ton of AA meetings, and I would go home right after and drink. And then this girl who was my sponsor, actually, because Southern California, where I was living at the time, is like the fucking rehab capital of America. So my sponsor at the time was able to get me into rehab. And what's up, guys? Real alcoholic. I went 4 times, okay, and I did sober living. So bring it, right? But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like I'm very fortunate to have been able to do that. Rehab centers, I don't know if they still are, but 10 years ago, they were really good at scamming insurance companies out of money by charging insane amounts for drug tests and stuff. But once I
See that?
wasn't, oh yeah, hey, there's some Ashley pictures. They're kind of blurry, but
Oh, they're
yeah,
blurry.
a
Yeah, I
lot
don't know
of
how to
no. Oh no, it's okay. I
fix
mean,
them.
they were blurry already on my end.
Okay.
These are Facebook pictures I found from like 10 years ago because I was just pretty shit canned around the clock. So, in rehab, they definitely push 12 steps a lot. And I think that AA was super important for me. Like I said, I also did NA for a while because in rehab, I knew a lot of addicts and I kind of liked the NA meetings better. People were like a little bit rowdier. And that was like, I dug that. And I went to, what's it called? ACA, Anonymous Children of Alcoholics or something
Oh,
like that. But it's like Al-Anon, but
Al-Anon. Yeah.
it's if you're specifically a parent of, specifically a
Child
child
of a
of an
parent. Right.
alcoholic, of a yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
um, I grew up with a mother who was an alcoholic and was and is an alcoholic. And I mean, I'm still an alcoholic. I'll never say I'm not an alcoholic. Like, I should never, ever touch a fucking drink in my life till the day I die. Like, I know that for a fact. And so my mother is an alcoholic, and I'm not a doctor. Adult children of alcoholics. Thank you, Faye.
Adult children of
And
alcoholics.
Michelle.
Okay.
And so, you know, I'm not a doctor, but she does show a lot of narcissistic tendencies. And I have complex PTSD and I have panic disorder. And most of that is as a result of childhood trauma that has continued like throughout my life with
Right.
family. Also, so I definitely want to say that if you've had continuous trauma and you're like, wow, I feel like I have ADHD and depression and anxiety and possibly OCD and maybe borderline. If you feel like you have all the things wrong with you, you might have
Yeah.
CPTSD. I'm just saying, guys. It was really awesome for me when I was able
Thank you for
to.
that diagnosis right here on screen because I'm just like, yep, yeah. Oh, okay, that's what it is. Well, thank you,
Well,
Dr. Ashley, because it's true.
it was so good for me to
It is.
understand that I didn't
Yeah.
have every possible fucking disorder in the book, and because generally PTSD is if you see somebody die or you experience something life-threatening, if you kind of have like a singular incident that would fuck anybody up, a lot of people do experience PTSD at some point in their life.
Right.
But
Oh, yeah.
CPTSD is complex. and it's generally as a product of, like maybe having your family die in a fire that your aunt accidentally set, and then like experiencing homelessness, and then like going into a cult, and like I don't know. That seems like a
Something
lot
like,
of
yeah,
trauma, and like it might end up being kind of complex. So
it's complex enough to try to tell the story.
yeah, did I boil it down pretty good? In
Pretty
like
much,
a
yeah, that's good.
10-second.
Can you write my book? Because I'm having trouble with it.
Oh, everybody's like, I love that everybody's just like out there, or a lot of people are out there writing books. I'm like, that sounds like
I'm not.
so
I haven't even
fucking much
written one
work.
thing.
Well, it's okay. You're telling your story in a different fashion.
Let's
So
see.
I
I wrote
don't necessarily.
Revelations. There we go.
Revelations. I realize that I say so many biblical things all the time. I'm like, well, hopefully this is a really fruitful collaboration. And I'm like, oh my God. No, I just will. And like today, instead of saying like, oh, I had some really interesting insights, or like, damn, some shit came to me, I was like, I had some really interesting revelations. And I was like, you have been spending way too much time with Christianity, Ashley.
Even the title
what's
is
up,
like
Christians?
fellowshipping with Ash.
People are feeling called out by me. That's okay, you guys. That's us bonding. I love it. Trauma bond. So I feel that why am I doing this? I feel so okay. I don't know what to do with my hands, So I do think that alcoholism is genetic. I feel that it is something that you have a possibility of inheriting, not necessarily. And I do think a lot of it is nature versus nurture. Can you have alcoholic parents who treat you like shit, and thank you, witness, and still turn out to be a pretty cool person? Maybe.
Yeah.
Can you have alcoholic parents who like manage to do a pretty good job, and then you still turn out to be a raging alcoholic and whatnot? Totally. But I mean, when you already have the genetics and you're raised by an alcoholic, you're predisposed to it. And then you get mental health issues right around the time that those pop up. And you have a lot of issues at home, then it's pretty likely for you. And you have an addictive personality, because I could list so many things that I'm very addicted to. And Marilyn brought up, I loved it, the styrofoam cups, because it's like a rite of passage when you get sober to drink a lot of shitty coffee and take up smoking, whether it's 1950 or 2023. So I wanted to, I guess, explain first a little bit about why I'm not going to fully avoid the word cult on my channel, because I think some things are just fully fucking cults. But I think like gender or sexuality or so many other things, it's on a scale. Like some cults are because people fucking love tennis. So they get together and play tennis a lot, and like they all really look up to fucking Maria Shapiro. Is that a tennis player or whatever? I don't know. Like things get culty. Think about all the bands that people like legit just like follow anywhere they go. They wear their shit. Like,
what do they call the Taylor Swifties?
Swifties.
Yeah.
I love Swifties. I love you guys. I love Swifties. I love Taylor. But like, holy shit, that is
they're voracious.
So culty. So culty. But that's okay, because
as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Unless your cult is coercive and high control, you're probably all right. And coercion and high control is all around us, from, like I said, the troubled teen industry to the MLM industry to religion to 12-step programs. It shows up as cults, that can be bad and coercive, show up everywhere. Again, like one-on-one relationships with narcissists can be considered a cult of one. So that's a lot of what I want to talk about on my channel.
Yeah,
And
in your channel, I put a banner down there. It says the at symbol, because that's the easiest way to find it. If you just put the at symbol and go right to it. At
cool.
harlots Jezebels.
Yes.
So we've been talking about that a lot. And I put on my best Jezebel outfit, and I know it's a flop, but
You just
this
still
is
look
as good
so
as I can
cute.
do.
And I tried to do my best. Oh, this is mascara. Any weirdos are gonna be like, is she holding a vibrator or something? No. So I have been slut shamed a lot in my life. Not like religiously, because I thought that I had never had anything to do with any Christian organization, and I just like that had never touched my world at all. And then I'm gonna like talk about how my mind was recently blown because I was like, oh, I was in like a pretty Christian like culty situation for a good chunk of years. So at first I wanted
My husband. Hey,
oh,
y'all,
hi
Jezebels and
Duncan.
harlots.
um
Yeah, honey, I'm all dressed up and no place to go.
wow. You have somewhere to go after the stream, right?
I do, I guess so.
So at first I wanted to I just started thinking about slut shaming a lot after actually I was listening to your live with Doug, and you were talking about how you were called, you said your 7-year-old was called a Jezebel. And like,
Yep.
it just, I don't know. I have ADHD like qualities as well, and I was like, ooh, shiny. I want to make a YouTube channel where I talk about slut shaming with people who've been shamed because of being whores or because of their gender or their sexuality. And then I was like, and then I was watching Telemarketers on HBO. It's a really good documentary about the biggest telemarketing scam in US history. You guys, it's cuckoo bananas. And my boyfriend was like, United States of Scamerica. And I was like,
oh my God, that was genius.
I was like,
Scamerica.
I was like, shut the fuck up. I have to do something with that title right now. And then I was like, you know what? Slut shaming is a form of control, and scams are coercion. I mean, if you listen to my podcast, I play pretty fucking fast and loose with topics because I like to talk about literally just anything that like interests me a lot at that point. And a lot of times it's coercion and control and cults. And lately it's really been Christianity. The Duggar documentary, Shiny Happy People, about the IBLP was just...
I got to flash this book to train a child, because it's what our child training Bible, our nice sweet child raising Bible, and it's the same one that the Duggars use. It's disgusting. It's like, I already burned one copy of it, but I just keep this one so I can refer to it. Ugh.
Yeah.
Evil. If there's a hell, they're going there.
Absolutely. And it was kind of on the heels of me rewatching a documentary called Jesus Camp that came out in 2006. You watched that shit?
I lived that shit. That was my fucking childhood.
You're like, bitch, I was there.
Yeah.
I'm a sinner. They're like 11 years old, sobbing, asking for forgiveness.
No, I swear to God, Ash, in the bowling alley. Hi, I was convicted by the Lord to I just want to tell you that he loves you and he has a plan for your life. Oh my God.
You would have made me so sad. I'd be like,
and the lady
I'm so
is like,
sorry, I don't want to hear
that
what
was a scene from that show with the little girl, the little 11-year-old girl with the little
I know who you're talking about with the freckles.
But that's exactly like, you were compelled. You had to like hand out these chick tracts. They were called.
Oh, you would have like seen me in the street and been like,
yeah,
look at that hoe, and you would have had to come over to me and like try to save me.
I would have had like a little burqa on.
Modesty is really cool. I don't know if you've heard of it, but no, actually it's really funny because I generally wear like men's or like unisex band t-shirts that show like none of my body. But in honor of, the premiere of the channel, because I am going to focus on harlots and Jezebels before I focus on United States of Scamerica, because that's the shiniest thing to me right now, is the slut shaming. Because, my God, that's everywhere. So anyways, that's a long roundabout way, I guess, of saying who I am, why I'm talking about AA, and what my channel's about. I feel like that was kind of the goal, and I did it. Maybe it was kind of long, but
no. Yeah, we got all the time in the world. Take your time, and we want to know all the things that you want to share. Whatever you're comfortable sharing, honey.
Wowza, you guys, I have witness. Can I get a witness? I love a fucking
Can
free
I get
t-shirt.
a witness?
But not when they give out those shitty ones. I hate that. I had a shirt that you could literally hear how not soft it was. My boyfriend
What
said
did it do?
that.
Like crinkle? What is it? Crinkle?
No, yeah, he was like, I can hear how uncomfortable that shirt is. I was like, yeah, I'm going to throw this away. Like, I liked it because of the color, and it was like an antisocial social club shirt, and I liked it, but
you see me, I'm like trying to adjust here. I'm so used to being
get sluttier.
Oh,
you're trying to
cover it
modest
up.
up.
I guess so.
Okay, Mena said suits my ADHD brain, and all my friends who have ADHD say that I have ADHD, but complex PTSD also presents a lot of things, and so my therapist, who's the bomb, is like, I don't know if you need to like have another thing, maybe let's just focus on therapy. And I was like, ew, fine. So let's go. Okay. I would love to start this part of that, now that we're like really starting the AA section. I'd love to start it off with the prayer with the prayer.
Which one? The Serenity or the Our Father?
Oh, the Serenity. Can we do it together?
Oh, I might know it. Yeah.
This is from heart. This is from memory. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Wisdom. Okay, I didn't know if it was wisdom.
And then it's like in the God, in the glory, amen. There's like a bunch of shit after that. I wish it was like the one thing.
For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. That's
yes.
Our Father. Yeah, that's Our Father, art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name.
Not
do you know that one?
Religious at all.
Do they say that too?
Bitch, that's Father? What we open. Yes, we say Our Father, the Lord's Prayer.
Okay, let's go through. You want to go through it? Let's go through it.
No, we're going. Okay. But I think let's take turns because it's hard for us to sync, I think. Okay. So you do the first half, and then I'll like jump in on the second half.
Okay.
I'll jump in at the forgiving.
Okay.
So we also witness. I would, but we gots to show how godlike this program is, or how centered it is around God. Because
do they leave the God parts out in some of the AA meetings that you went to?
I mean,
they
maybe
say Our
some.
Father.
I mean, every group is self-sustaining and blah blah blah.
Do they say we're not preaching at anybody, you guys? We're just trying to.
Yeah, no, it's God.
This is your experience. So every AA meeting you went to, they would say
God.
The Lord's Prayer. They would
say that you would open every meeting with the Serenity Prayer. Sometimes you would close with the Lord's Prayer. Not always, though. But, bitch, I had that shit memorized because I said it enough times. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, we're not trying to
I don't think anybody's offended. You're so sweet.
We're not trying to offend anybody.
I'm looking at the comments, and I really don't think anybody's offended. You're so cute, Marilyn. I'm like, whatever, fuck it, let's go. Um,
We're just talking about your experience and,
yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said, I'm not shitting all over AA. It saved my life at a point. Like your girl needed the accountability. She needed that sense of control. Like I said, I feel like that's why, cult is kind of like such a slippery word, because you could have been in a cult and you could have had a good or bad experience. Is AA pretty culty? Yes. Does it save millions of lives? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do some people probably need that much control and structure? Yeah, I know a couple. So, and maybe not for life, but like maybe in the beginning, Tampa says AA is higher power, not God.
Not God. Right.
Well,
That's what I thought.
they do emphasize that your higher power can be whatever you want. It can be Buddha. It can be. I cannot believe I can't think of any fucking gods, but like you can have whatever religion you want. If you're not religious, God,
Allah. Yeah.
God can be group of drunks. A lot of people will say that, like that's your higher power, is this group of drunks that you're connected with because they're helping keep you sober. Basically, it's kind of like recognizing that you're not the center of the universe, because
So Lumen said nobody has to participate in the Lord's Prayer or saying God, but God is definitely part of AA.
that's
So you don't
absolutely
have to
right.
say it. But I'm telling you, if everybody else was saying it, I probably would have said it, because everyone else is saying it and you want to participate, but you don't have to.
Lumen
Right.
also said AA is higher power, but God is in the actual program Big Book, 12 steps. Thanks, Lumen. I haven't read the Big Book in a long time. I used to have that shit like memorized. It's like, do I know that page 417 is about acceptance? Yeah, I do. And acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today. I don't know how the rest of it, but I definitely know that's how it starts. So what I wanted to say is I recently had a discussion with my friend Catherine, who has a podcast called Uncertain, and she has an organization called Tears of Eden, which is to help survivors of spiritual abuse. I really want to connect you with her. She's amazing.
It sounds
And
great. Yeah, I've heard a lot about her from other people too.
She's awesome.
Lindsay Williams told me about her too. I really want to connect with her.
I like love all the people we know. They're
I know.
It's so cool. We're so cool. No, but I'm so honored to like know these people and be able to like hear their experiences and get to know them, I was talking to Catherine and one of my co-hosts, Fallon, who was involved in evangelicalism at certain points in her life. And they were trying to stump me with stuff that Christians say. Like, what do you think this means? And like, they weren't super stoked, because I was like, bang, bam, boom. I was nailing them. I'm the best Christian.
And you've never been to church. You're the best Christian, Okay. Did you learn? Where did you learn all those words?
AA.
Oh,
a lot of them.
Okay.
Okay. So I call AA. So I actually just kind of thought of this in the shower. I was thinking sober fundamentalism, because in AA, like the real hardcore AA people will say that you shouldn't be on anything, no prescription drugs of any sort, not an antidepressant, like nothing. If you go get, your fucking leg sawed off, like maximum strength Tylenol is like about the most you can do without having relapsed. So I take a little cocktail. I take a few things for anxiety and like mood stabilization and depression. And then I have Valium prescribed to me, a very low dose, because I have panic disorder and I've been doing EMDR for 2 years. I've actually had panic disorder since I was 16. So when I get a panic attack, it's like physically debilitating it can be hours, because I just get really nauseous. And like that's most and like can't breathe. And if anybody's ever had a panic attack, you know what it's like. But so I have this fun thing called panic disorder, where if you just get them a lot. But in AA, 1,000% that would not be allowed. Like, no fucking way would they ever consider me sober if they knew that I was on a benzo. Like, I'm not saying everybody's like a sober fundamentalist. Like, I had a lot of sponsors who knew that I was on prescription medications for mental health issues, and that was never problematic. I'm just saying that some people, like the sober fundamentalists, they're like, nada, nothing. But I can pretty confidently say that unless I found a super chill sponsor, nobody in AA would consider me sober because of the fact that I take a benzo. Or like, I'm getting probably a tooth pulled soon, and I might take a Vicodin if it hurts enough. My boyfriend just got a tooth pulled, and he's been taking Vicodin every 4 hours. And if that gets prescribed to me, bitch, I'm taking the Vicodin. But I also know myself, and I know that anything is a slippery slope, because you don't want to, here we go, Christians, backslide. So I'm going to do a lot of comparing of Christian and AA lingo. Also, I smoke weed, and that's mostly, it's for anxiety, but it's also recreational. Like, I like, life is hard. Fuck. Like, I just want to chill out a little bit sometimes. And obviously a glass of wine or anything is not an option for me.
Can I ask you something? Like, I don't know. I'm pretty much, I've only been to 3 AA meetings, and all I know is that they say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic. You're supposed to be anonymous. They say some nice, things, serenity prayer. They some people tell their stories, and you drink really super hot coffee with powdered cream. That's all I know about AA, really. I also know that it really does help a lot of people. And, but like, what's the oversight? Like you're saying, unless you get a really chill sponsor, like, are they trained by the organization?
Oh my God.
Like,
no, that's so funny. Look, I'm going full on into AA lingo, and you're like, what the fuck is a sponsor, and what do they do? That's crazy. So actually,
they're recovering alcoholics too. It's like a it's like a buddy system.
Yeah, it's kind of like a buddy system.
Are they trained? Like, what I want to know is like how, because I'm just seeing in the comments there's a lot of mixed reviews, and that does make a lot of sense. Like, okay, I've been to so many different Weight Watchers meetings. I think Weight Watchers in itself does work for a lot of people, but some of the meetings I went to were kind of culty and a little bit like shamey. Yeah. And almost like, what did you eat the other day? Oh, where did you, well, how come, well, you need to pack a lunch and you need to make sure. And I felt like controlled. So I went to another meeting, and it was fine. And I could just kind of be in the back and learn stuff.
And I mean, trust me.
I'm just saying that we're not saying AA is bad, but everyone's story and everyone's experience is valid. We're not, blanket. So I just want to say, guys, like, if you had a great experience, or you have a relative that has and has stayed sober, that's awesome. We're just saying, like, I want to hear your story, Ash. And if anybody else wants to come on and talk about it, I'm game, So I just want to hear you out, and let's just, I want to just slow down and don't worry about what people are saying. Just tell us your story and your journey.
I'm like,
it's your journey.
I don't know.
No, I'm saying my mind is racing, because I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to worry about, you're fine. I'm just saying, I'm not going to worry about, like, the other input right now.
I'm actually just not looking at comments.
Yeah, don't look. And they're fine. They're very supportive. Yeah. You can also click on any other button so you don't see the comments for now. But we have 18 starred comments, and we will go through some of those later on.
Yeah, and just like Witness said, every person's experience is valid. Yep. Like I said, I'm sure there are people who went to a Scientology or NXIVM course and learned some fucking great skills that improved their life. I'm not saying by any means that AA is an actual cult. I'm saying why it's cult-like. I'm saying why I think it's pretty fucking connected to Christianity, despite what anybody says. And if you're having a great time in AA and you're, using what you like and blah, 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 like, cool. You should do a live stream about how it is helping your life immensely currently. Mm-hmm. I'm going to talk about, like Marilyn said, though, what my experience was.
Right. Yeah.
Also, if you are getting sober without going to rehab or detox first, like generally a sponsor wouldn't recommend like, oh, you should go to detox first. They're just like, you just need to like stop drinking, pray, get together with another alcoholic, which can be super fucking dangerous because for a lot of alcoholics, it's not really safe to go off alcohol cold turkey if you've been
Right.
drinking
Yeah.
consistently for
Yeah.
years.
Right.
So a little bit back to the serenity prayer, which we start every meeting with, which we did. I don't go anymore. Theologian, which I looked up. It's a religious person. Reinhold
Theologian. Yep.
Niebuhr reported to have used the prayer. Then this woman from the American Young Women's Christian Association changed it a bit. Then it was picked up by a few papers. Then it was in the Young Women's Christian Association periodical, the Women's Press. And finally, it was published in a Christian student newsletter attributing it to Niebuhr. Oh, and also appeared in additional American and Canadian newspapers in the 30s that were associated with some individual women, but often with the American Young Women's Christian Association. Yeah, Young Women's Christian Association. So the Serenity Prayer is like straight the fuck up Christian, and don't tell me it's not. The Lord's Prayer, that's how we close it. Let's get back to that really quick.
Okay.
I'll pick it up at forgiveness. Go.
Okay. Since you remember this, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive
us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Don't tell me that's not a fucking Christian prayer. Or I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm going to get feisty. Like, I think everybody should do what they do, but like, this is a pretty fucking culty religious organization, and they do really stress like Young Women's Christians Association. Yeah, I don't know if it's still around, you guys, but it was hot in the 30s apparently.
So all the meetings you went to different meetings, and they said that prayer every single week.
We always said the Serenity Prayer.
Yeah.
We some meetings said the Lord's Prayer, and some meetings did.
So to you, it felt very Christian, like you were.
No, at the time.
Oh, you didn't know? Okay.
At the time, my mom was like, that sounds really religious. And I was like, you don't get it. Okay. Like, you know how people in cults do. They're like,
you don't understand.
You just don't understand. It's not at all religious.
Yeah.
And somebody points out that they are in a church, which may or may not be relevant. It's often because churches will give the space for free. So that's not actually something that I thought was super relevant to talk about. Some people who are more like sober fundamentalists will say alcoholic, Ashley, because they're an alcoholic before anything else in their life, before they're Ashley, before they're a podcaster, before they're anything.
They called you alcoholic, Ashley?
No, some people will introduce themselves like that.
Oh.
Like alcohol, not hi. Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm an alcoholic. Some people will say alcoholic, Marilyn. Like you're identifying that before anything else, before a mother or a fucking whatever, that you're an alcoholic. Because you always need to remember that like alcoholism's gonna get you, and you need to remember that first and foremost, you're a fucking alcoholic and you're powerless over alcohol. And that AA is the only way to stay sober.
Really?
I don't know, you guys. I'm just like looking back and having some interesting
so the only way,
if you will.
Yeah. So that's what you were told. This is the only way. And how many times a week did you have to go?
I mean, they encourage you to do 90 and 90, so 90 meetings in the first 90 days. You should go every day for the first 3 months.
Okay.
And my friend told me that if you're new to Christianity, often they'll kind of give you like a buddy or something who can kind of like, help you out or whatever. And probably not all sects of Christianity, but like
Is that
some.
a sponsor? Oh, you mean
So
just
that would be a
just
sponsor in
Christianity?
AA.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if it would
Yep.
also
Yep.
be a sponsor in religion.
Yeah, well,
But
you're
like I know
talking
with like within the IBLP,
Christianity is so
fucking
it's like
broad, right? Yeah.
it's not even worth trying to get into because we could be it would
Right.
take like
So
weeks
like
and weeks and months, years.
I know that in the
There's
IBLP,
like
obviously, which
8,000
is
different denominations and types of
yeah,
churches,
yeah. So like like I'm just thinking of in the IBLP, the reason one of the girls married this guy was because he asked Jim Bob to be his prayer buddy. He's like, it's good to know somebody's
Yep.
praying for
Yep.
you. So
Yeah, you
I
have
don't know.
accountability buddies, you have prayer buddies, you have prayer partners.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get it. Like,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
I see
So
what you're
that's
saying.
what
Yep.
like that's what a sponsor is in AA,
Okay.
and you're encouraged not to date or do anything but focus on your sobriety in the first year. And I was also told by my friend who was evangelical that you're told that when you're a baby Christian, that you should focus on
some circles,
Christianity for being. Yeah. Okay. So let me just say
Well,
this
I had to ask
one more
permission to get married.
You guys, I'm not like doing a blanket statement about AA or Christianity, any sect of Christianity. I'm just saying that these things pop up. So, like, that's it. Okay.
Yep.
These are
You
my opinions.
You don't have to
They're not
explain yourself.
facts.
This is your right. You don't have to explain yourself. This is your experience. This is your story.
And I'm also telling, like you're saying, oh, I don't know what sect that happened is. And I'm saying that my friend who was evangelical said that she experienced that. I'm not saying that that happens in every evangelical congregation. I'm saying that my friend who was evangelical is the person who gave me all of these comparisons. So,
well, and you have somebody that witnesses
or,
you. Let's put down witness, not with an I like our friend witness or an H, WH, but WIT.
Oh, well, I heard about
witnessing
and testimony, like how your life was bad and then how AA or how Christianity made it better.
Do they say testimony in AA? Do they say the word testimony? Did you know what it was?
I don't know, but people definitely get up and talk about like how their life has improved since AA, and like a lot of times in NA people will talk about their drug addiction and and I'm not actually grasping for straws. You can leave.
You're doing great
if you're not a fan
Hey,
of
listen,
what I have
guys.
to say.
All right, listen, guys.
Guys,
okay, I just want to say something. I know we have some mods. Just please be respectful, because if you were up here telling your story, I wouldn't want anybody to
like I
disrespect your
said,
story.
if you had a great
It's okay if you
experience
don't have to
in AA,
agree.
that's fucking awesome. Keep
You
enjoying
don't have to
it.
agree. You don't have to agree.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And like I said, AA saved my life at one point and saves a ton of lives. So just like,
yes,
stop. All right. Also, like Bill Gothard and a lot of other pastors, there are pictures of Bill Wilson hung in a lot of rooms where there are AA meetings held. There are a lot of AA speakers that have like kind of culty followings, like mega church pastors. It'll be like, oh, did you know that Marilyn Honig's gonna speak at One Light tonight or whatever? And then you'll go fellowship after and talk about like how awesome the meeting was. I also heard that fellowshipping is very popular in Christianity, some fucking sects. Some people say it, some people don't. Okay.
we always said
also,
fellowship. We have actually, there was a room called the Fellowship Hall, even in the
Uh-huh.
mainstream church, and, there's also, in the Bible, it says, "Do," and this is why my family and different people that I know that I grew up with, have an issue with me not going to church, because you're not supposed to abandon the fellowship of the brethren. So if I say I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, I have my own, relationship with God, and which I have said before, I don't know about that anymore. I don't really know what I believe anymore, but I would say I don't need to go to church. Well, no, you do, because you're not supposed um to abandon the fellowship of the brethren. That's in the Bible. Well, there's different translations, but that's definitely a word. So there's this idea of you have to be a part of the group. And I understand, the accountability thing and all that, but to me, organized religion, organized anything isn't my thing anymore. Just isn't.
No, and like I've said repeatedly, if it is your jam, fucking awesome. I'm super stoked for you. It's just not
Yeah.
mine anymore.
Right.
We can like all be right. There's room for everybody's
Yeah, exactly.
experiences here.
Yeah.
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 So, okay. Um I know backsliding is a thing that's often talked about in some religions. I'm going to just say
Mhm.
that so I can piss people off less. And when, like, if you're, kind of sliding back into sin or secular type shit, like in
Yeah.
AA, I don't know if they
I
would
was
say
always backsliding.
backsliding, but
Yeah.
it's
I
like
was
a
backsliding in my heart. Yeah.
well, you might say, like, Marilyn started hanging out with normies, and I think she's going to go out again. Like, so a normie would be like a non believer, and I'm afraid she's going to go out again would mean like, I'm afraid she's backsliding. And because you're either in or out of the program, there's one way to stay sober, and that's AA. And you're either fucking in or you're out. I smoked weed, went to a meeting, told that I was out. I said, no, I'm fucking not. And they insisted that I was. So I said, fuck you, I'm going to go do cocaine, which is another thing that I think is dangerous. Is that
Yeah.
a lot of times when people are they think they're doing well, and then they're told by a group of people, oh, you had 10 years of sobriety and you had one drink, that's over. You're a newcomer. Take a newcomer chip and get up in front of the group and tell everybody that you lost that. Like, I just think it's a little bit
That
fucking
makes me want
shamey.
to. That makes me want to cry.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is why I don't do YouTube. Like, the comments
No,
will
this is
kill
good.
me. No, but like, I haven't had
It's
YouTube for so
fine.
long because like people
No,
will
you
piss me
got some
off, and then I
good.
go, I
Hey,
don't have,
listen.
and
Okay,
I have
listen.
CPTSD, and I don't have enough emotional regulation to like not get
Okay.
angry.
Okay, listen. Here we go. Here we go. Cat. Oh, I'm just putting up some. That's okay, honey. Save space for all. Share us all our difficult stories. Listen, I was crying the other night, like I went through a couple boxes of Kleenex myself. I want my channel to be a safe space. It's coffee,
Yeah.
it's all, it's crafts. So keep talking, Ash. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Cat says,
Yeah, you guys are saying a lot of nice things.
Tampa
Thank
B
you.
man, you're safe in this chat. We're all here for you. So this is your story, Ash.
I'm not crying. You are. Okay. And that's
Right.
why I'm starting
Right.
my channel about harlots and Jezebels, or that's going to be one of my major segments, because I've been slut shamed a lot, and I'm really fucking tired of people who like want to go and make troll comments without going and like actually giving any information to the world. It's like, well, if you have some shit to say, how about you stop being okay? Okay. Ashley's going to take a breath.
You see all
Ooh.
the comments?
I get to edit this out on podcasting. Okay, we're
It's all
chilling.
good. You're doing amazing.
Okay.
Come on.
I just
You
don't
don't ever
like,
have to do it again if you
I
don't
just
like it.
don't
But
like when people like
everyone-
shame other people for how they're recovering or whatever. It's just like we all have the right to
Ash,
do
hugs
whatever
and
we
love.
want.
So much love to you. You're incredibly brave. You are so brave putting yourself out here. I'd like to see, any haters, come on up and do it. I'll send you a link right now. It's not easy. It's taken me, I've been in this hot seat since April. So what is that? I can't do math. I brought up an occult. 7 months. 7 months,
Yeah.
something like that.
I
Yeah.
count on
So
my fingers.
I tell you, I still get I have to do the box breathing before I come on. It's not easy, and you're doing fantastic. And it's not everybody has to agree, but I really want everyone to be. It seems like everyone's being really respectful, even if they don't agree. They're giving you lots of love. So,
Whew,
uh,
okay. I get
oh, Tampa
the
B's a harlot too. Yes, for the harlots.
I think anybody honestly who like has experienced anything like CPTSD like understands that it's really easy to get triggered and like take shit personally even when it's like not, you know? And the reason I want to start my Harlots and Jezebels channel too is like I've been sexually assaulted twice and I've never told my stories publicly because we live in such a like blaming and shaming society. And I'm kind of like struggling about actually how much of my story I want to share because I really think that it's up to victims and survivors,
Yeah,
like
absolutely. No
how
one
and
has a right
when
to anyone's
they share
story.
their story. But
Absolutely.
I want to give
Hmm.
a platform to people who are ready to share their story and do want to,
Same
you
here.
know?
Yeah.
So I just like, I would love if we could all just,
Yeah.
like respect how we're all trying to get through life because this shit's hard. Um,
Absolutely.
so also you're supposed to do like a nightly inventory where you like admit all of the things you did wrong that day and like then you do maybe I don't remember what step it is, but here wait, I have the steps in front of me.
Oh yeah.
Well, step one is admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. At that point, like I was powerless over alcohol and my life was unmanageable. Today, I don't drink alcohol and I don't feel that way. Like I don't feel powerless over it. My life isn't unmanageable for any other reasons than like I have like trauma that I'm working through and mental health issues and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Step two is came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Again, it's not preaching God. It's just saying you're not the fucking center of the universe, which a lot of alcoholics think they are. It always kind of blew my mind. I'll admit I can be super fucking judgy sometimes as somebody who did stop drinking. Like people, thinking about how much I want to dox anybody here. I really think that people in my life there are some people who should go to AA and they should fucking turn their life over to like another drunk, even if they've only had 2 more days sober. Like I think some people need that. And some, I will be kind of judgy because I'll be like, how could you have children and abandon them and neglect them to go get high or drunk? Because for me, when my life started getting really negatively affected and I started really negatively affecting the people around me, it was, I felt like, I also am just like a really guilty person. Yesterday, I just literally felt guilty out of fucking nowhere. I was like, I don't
Me
know.
too.
I
I
feel
have
like,
this I have this like apology confession thing all the time. I'm
oh,
always like, I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just sitting there all of a sudden. I was like, wow, I'm an awful person. Like, you know,
No, you're
um,
not.
but yeah, there's that ADHD brain of mine. Like, where was I? We're at the steps. Oh,
Yeah.
so, and
Yeah.
like I have a
Powerless and you
partner
were yeah.
now, and um, so I've been sober for about 9 years. I think I had a year and a half of drinking and dabbling with some other drugs in that interim. It was actually after I had been sober for about 2.5 years of all drugs and alcohol. Um, I went to a meeting. I said I smoked weed because I got sunstroke and I was violently throwing up. And I know the medicinal properties of weed will like help. And then like maybe I got high a couple days after too. So like maybe I was in a little bit of denial. But the fact that I went and I said, listen, I wasn't trying to get high. I felt like shit and now I'm stopping. And I
Mm.
don't really feel like you can say I lost my sobriety. And a bunch of people were like, no, you did. And then, like I said, I was like, all right, well, fuck you. And then I went out for like a year and a half and did some fucking cocaine and whatever. Let's be real. Accidentally
Did
bought
you,
some meth on the
did
street
you
while I was
feel?
drunk in San Francisco and then was like, let me try this out a few times. We are getting fucking real, you guys. I
Yeah.
was
You felt like
wild.
disillusioned, right? Like, what did I do all that for? If it, it doesn't count.
Exactly. I
It
was like,
doesn't
well, let's
count.
let's go
Yeah.
nutsy then, you know?
Yeah. I
It was just
understand
also
that.
a really hard time in my life. So,
I
and I
can
didn't
understand that. Yeah.
buy the meth on purpose. Like somebody told me that it was cocaine and I was really drunk when I bought it. So I'm like, that's how it started, you know? But like, shit, man. And then I think I might have gone back. I don't actually know if I went. No, I didn't go back to AA. I found an outpatient rehab program and I started going to DBT classes, which is dialectical behavioral therapy. It's super helpful for addicts and
Hmm.
alcoholics and people. It was actually created for people with borderline personality disorder, but a lot of addicts and alcoholics, samesies, show the symptoms of borderline, or like at least DBT can be super helpful for them in the way that it is with um, people with borderline personality disorder.
Right.
Um, so, do you have any questions? I'm like really motor
So
mouthing.
no, I'm just taking it in. I'm like, okay, you're talking about the steps, how
I'm like back and
you were
forth a lot.
powerless. No, I'm really getting it. No, I'm really getting a picture of like what you were personally, we're gonna say your personal journey. I can totally understand that because the backsliding thing where like I was always working to try to be good enough that, like in my whole Christian, even when I was younger in the quote mainstream church, like I never felt like I could totally toe the mark and do get with the program completely. So if I went on like some kind of like binge and I kissed a boy or had sex or something, I felt like I was like starting at square one. Like God hated me. I was stripped of all of my any type of credibility that I had in the church. I had to like clean floors and and so I kind of understand that. It's like all, I think everything's a journey, right? You learn from it. Yeah, you go out and you accidentally have a little bit of meth. I don't think it completely I don't think it completely negates the 2.5 years that you were sober.
No. And like when I add, and then there was another time where I drank. So that did lead to like a year and a half of being, I don't know, doing my own thing, you know. Woo. Um, although I gotta say, I did have some really fun nights in the Castro district. Okay, I was in San Francisco, so um,
Okay.
um, I just gotta throw some shit in to lighten it up once in a while. I'm like joke time.
Listen, everyone knows that watches me regularly. I am super dark. Like I mean, I'm bright and cheery, but I laugh at things I shouldn't laugh at because we are. I'm gonna say it. We've been fucking traumatized. I think there's something in you that like I wouldn't survive if I couldn't laugh at shit. If I couldn't, just say something that's inappropriate. So I'm inappropriate sometimes. That's just how I am.
Yeah. So over the last 9 years, I did go out for that year and a half. Go out. Somebody asked, how is radical acceptance in DBT different from acceptance in AA? Which is that acceptance in AA is that you're powerless over alcohol and um, that your life has become unmanageable and that like you need a higher power to restore you to sanity. Radical acceptance in DBT has really nothing to do with addiction. It has to do with accepting situations in your life for what they are.
What are you doing? Are you reading comments?
Yeah, like just somebody should leave. I don't understand why they're
All right.
here.
Just take it off the just don't even look at the comments, honey. Just click on banners or something.
Like she's just being
Click on
really
private chat.
rude.
All right, just
I don't want to be mean, but you're blaming them for your going out. Hey, how about you go shut the hell up?
All right, don't worry.
I didn't blame AA at all, actually, for my going out. I knew that I didn't fucking see that as going out is the thing. And that's like, it was people like that in AA who were like, no, actually you did. You smoked weed. And I said, you know what? I'm addicted to alcohol and I didn't pick up a drink. So how about you go fuck yourself? It was people like that in AA who really fucked with my sobriety. Since then, besides my 1.5 years out, my 1 day of drinking and my 1 day of taking a handful of pills because I was upset, and sometimes addicts do shit like that. I haven't fucking drinking in 9 years. So I'm not really into people telling me about my sobriety or if it's good enough or if they fucking agree with it. I don't.
So
see. I'm
so let me
like,
just say,
like,
Ash,
I don't give a shit.
You're
but
okay, honey.
I do
No,
give a shit,
and
obviously.
I
But it's
understand.
people like that is the reason that I never fucking went back, and why I'm talking shit. Because like people in that program are fucking judgmental and they're shamey and they're like this hoe.
All right, honey. Listen, so what happened was you have an admin invite, right? So you see even the comments that were, this person's been taking a hike. So no one else, because everybody's saying, I don't see the hike. Everyone's saying, I don't see the comment. I don't see the comment because our mods already got rid of it, but we can see it.
Oh, but I can see it all. Oh,
Just
I
because
hate
you're
that.
an admin, So over on the right,
I don't want to see that shit. All right,
okay,
I'm gonna go over here.
You see comments, banners.
I'm sorry, you guys. Somebody in the chat is like super triggering me because
they're already gone.
Mean.
Yeah, they're already gone. They're gone. You can click on private chat.
I did that.
Or click on
that.
Okay,
I did that.
So you can talk to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Does the private chat say, Ashley, stop?
No, it just says what you say.
Okay. I'm not going to apologize for getting emotional because whatever.
This is listen, honey. This is your story. We're dealing with some really serious stuff here, and it's somebody. Also,
this is why so many people don't talk about their sexual assault, because so many people will be like, "Well, what were you wearing? Why were you there? It sounds like it was your fault." Right. So I think if you're like a blamer of people who have gone through hard things and you judge them and think you're better than them, you should, like, I don't know, take a look in the mirror and maybe do an inventory if you're still in AA. Because a big thing about AA is you're always supposed to find your part, your responsibility in a situation. You're supposed to do an inventory like nightly. And if you were in AA, you would probably write in your inventory that evening, I went into a live chat and shamed a fellow alcoholic. Because you're supposed to write the things that you do that aren't cool. And that's why I don't like a lot of people who are like up on their 12 high step, It's like and that's the culty shit I'm talking about. When people are in a culty group, they fucking defend it hard as shit when anybody comes for it at all. Oh my God, I got so many negative reviews when I talked about MLMs. So many fucking Huns were like, Amway did amazing things in my community. And it's like, okay, and it also ruined millions of lives. Like, why are you here?
Yeah. And that's okay for them, but don't, this is my channel right now. I don't want anybody telling Ashley what to think or, challenging her right now. Her story is valid. Her story is her story. If you haven't come on a channel and talk to, it's probably going to be at least hundreds of views with the replay. Then hundreds, maybe you don't know what it's like.
We're huge.
Maybe you don't, maybe 100. Well, hey.
Sorry, I had to say something light. I had to.
I'm happy when I'm talking to 8 people. Right now we're talking to 47. I don't even think I can fit 47 people in my house. So yeah. We're grateful for everyone that's here, except for the people that are going to give Ashley shit, because I'm not putting up with it, and neither are the mods. So
thank you.
And we really.
I'm looking at.
You're very, very brave.
People are being super nice, and that's what's so hard about talking about your story. story
Yeah.
publicly. So many people are supportive, but when you have trauma, like those fucking few trolls will like
Yeah.
niggle
I
at
flipped
you.
out. You saw me flip out on a troll the other night
I
because I was
know,
like,
and I was like,
I was, and it's funny because I couldn't stand up to Marlene, or even I gave her the discount on the luggage and all that, and I can't, somebody I know, I can't like, but there was just this random troll that was messaging me on Facebook saying, "Don't do this, don't talk to Doug, don't get off the stream, blah blah blah," and I was just like, because I just flipped out because it's like I'm bearing my soul here, and someone's telling me don't talk, and I'm
yeah,
like, I'm gonna talk if I want,
I'm
So
gonna
this is
talk
where
louder and cuss more now.
it's not easy. It's
Yeah, people are
not.
being very nice. And
See, yes,
podcasting it's a different ball game
99%.
because I'm just like behind my little microphone, and then I can
Right.
edit out anything that I was like, I didn't love that I said that.
Yeah, and
You know,
everyone's right here. It's like petty people, nothing
they're
better to
there.
do.
You guys,
Everyone's there for
so
you.
let me, since I took so long to acknowledge the trolls, can I just say like thank you to everybody who's on and being super supportive.
We love you. Yes.
That's really nice. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So one of the other things, in addition to Bill Wilson, the founder, in addition to his picture being up in a lot of rooms and his birthday being celebrated, also the first chapter is Bill's story. The first thing you learn in Alcoholics Anonymous is about Bill W., the founder.
What's his deal?
Okay.
Whatever,
Well,
his
actually,
personal.
no, actually, let me tell you about AA's origins. So AA actually started with a religious group called the Oxford Group. So this is on AA.com, you guys.
And we can put the references afterwards and the descriptions if anybody wants to look them up, maybe wants to delve more into it.
So the Oxford Group was a religious movement popular in the US and Europe in the early 20th century. They practice a formula of, and this is all quotes right off the website, guys. They practice a formula of self-improvement by performing self-inventory, admitting wrongs, making amends, using prayer and meditation, and carrying the message to others, which is a lot of the basis for AA. And then like Bill Wilson and another guy got together and decided that the only way that people could stay sober was by helping another alcoholic stay sober. And again, I will witness or attest to the fact that helping other people stay sober did help me stay sober. Like I had people I was accountable to. Like I didn't want to relapse because I wanted to like show them that sobriety was possible,
Right.
And even like I was saying, sometimes I get a little bit judgmental about people not being able to stay sober or clean when they're a parent. And let's say that might be because of some personal experience. And because like when I, took too many pills one day when I decided I didn't want to feel anything, like my boyfriend came home to that and he wasn't super stoked, and I wasn't super stoked that I put him through that, So I feel like I guess I was just really going off on somebody about being judgmental, and I can be a little judgmental too, but I think that's really tinted by my own personal experience, like I'm just like, how could you not stay sober when you have people counting on you though? But like I do understand that it's just not possible for everybody. Like some people with or without AA or whatever, like they just never get it in their lives. There are millions of people who die of alcoholism, I'm sure, over the years, like it's a very prevalent disease, which I think which it is, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but yeah, so it did start off with a religious movement, and then they decided let's not bring any type like specific religion into this because we want to appeal to people of all religions. But if you're just tuning in, a lot of what I've been talking about is that AA says it's not a religious program, and sure, maybe it's not, but I mean, you do open every meeting with the Serenity Prayer. You close it often with the Lord's Prayer. Also, just like, watch the replay. I've listed a ton of Christian sayings and phrases and words that are super similar to AA language and concepts.
Concepts, yes, not just the language, but the actual
concepts.
Right. And carrying them out, the behaviors, behavior, information, thoughts, emotions wrapped up in a lot of this stuff. And like you said, disclaimer again, we'll just keep doing this disclaimer. We're not saying that the organization of an Alcoholics Anonymous is bad or a cult, but there's no like micromanaging oversight. It's not a franchise, right? I mean, people can do their own spin on it, right? Like I said, I use the example of Weight Watchers. I went to some meetings that were super freaking culty. I had to get out of there, but then there were others that were more laid back and helpful, super helpful.
And like I made a disclaimer in the beginning, at one point AA did save my life, and I did need it. And I think that somebody else, and I think that a lot of people do need it. And some people need to go meetings for their entire life. And for some people, I think somebody said it's a stepping stone, which is great because now I've had 3 lapses, which is what they would call it in Smart Recovery. It's not actually a program I've tried. I just know it's an alternative to AA where instead of saying relapse, which kind of implies shame, they just talk about lapses. Like, okay, you had a lapse. What are you going to do? You're going to get back up and get back on the fucking horse. It took me like a year and a half to get back on the horse, but that's just like how it goes sometimes, And at that point, because I had felt shamed when I left AA, which was, not the entire organization. I mean, it was pretty much a particular meeting that I went to and talked to several people that made me feel ashamed. So it's not, but like you do, whenever you relapse, you have to get up in front of the whole group and say, hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a newcomer, even if I had 10 years without a fucking sip of alcohol. So, and like some people have said, take what you like and leave the rest. They do say that in AA a lot. So if you're like, I really like a lot of these ideas, but this fucking God thing is super not working for me. Often you can find a sponsor. That's somebody who takes you through the big book and leads you to sponsor other people. So
you can find a sponsor that doesn't believe in God, but it's like a higher power.
You can
find you be sponsors. An atheist? Can you be an atheist to be an AA?
Yeah, so like atheists do struggle, but that's when the group of drunks, God, comes into play. They're like, okay,
God, group of drunks?
God, God, group of drunks. So if you're just like, I cannot believe in a fucking higher power, that is some bullshit. They're like, okay, well, do you see us as a group staying sober? And it's like, yeah. It's like, okay, well then why don't you realize that you're not the fucking center of the world? Your story is like not that uncommon. I mean, not that I want to like dismiss my trauma or other people's, but yeah, no, fuck, that is pretty dismissive. Shit. Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's talking about the atheism and
right.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff starred. I'll go through them and see what
Let me say. Okay, so I've got a couple. Like I said in the beginning, I said, if you if you're having a hard time accepting something, then you'll probably want to go to page 417, paragraph 2, I think. Oh my God. If anybody knows, let me know. And it starts with, "And acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today." Like, so people do kind of like spit big book quotes or lines. I don't know what. Like people will like kind of spit psalms, or what is it when people are like John 32? What is that?
Oh, like scriptures?
Yes,
Reciting scriptures? Reciting scriptures. Sorry, I was reading some of the comments. Yeah.
That's okay. I'm like, when they say the thing with the numbers.
Yeah. Scriptures. Yeah.
Also, I understand why this is. They don't want to change the wording of the big book because it's been helping millions of alcoholics stay sober for over 100 years.
So are there scriptures quoted in the big book?
Close to 100 years. No, I don't think so.
No.
I'm just saying that, like, how people will be like, and God doesn't what is it? It's a really dangerous Bible verse. It's God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And like, woo, that can be used for some scary shit. But you know how people will be like, he doesn't qualify, John 13. Like, so I'm saying some people will be like, oh, well, you know what? You just need to go read page 417. Acceptance.
Oh, really?
So do you get what I'm, that's the
Yeah. They
I'm
quote,
making.
yeah. They cite different pages and verses and
everything in AA is referred to as like he. There's never any she, they, and like I understand why they don't want to change the wording because, like I said, it's been working for close to 100 years, helping a fuck ton of people. Pardon me. But there's still a chapter called Two Wives. And couldn't they at least just change that to like two partners? It's 2023. Like it still says two wives.
Really?
I understand maybe they don't want to change the vernacular throughout the whole book, but like that would be a simple change that wouldn't distort the message whatsoever. But it's not just the book's not like it's not just middle-aged white men who are like married and fucking work at a corporation who have alcoholism, which is kind of like women did go into AA fairly early on. It did start as just males. Women did
really
get introduced very early on. It wasn't like fraternal. Oh my gosh. Two wives. Yeah, sorry. It's not two like the number. It's two. Like, here's a message to the wives.
To the wives.
Like it's basically saying like, don't be too hard on your husband. He's trying his best. Like some other shit. I don't remember. I haven't read it in a long time, but it's not about having two wives. It's a message to the wives of alcoholics. But like I'm saying, it's 2023. Not every alcoholic is a middle-aged married man. So I'm saying maybe like two partners would be better phrasing. I understand them not wanting.
Yeah, well, that sounds a little bit patriarchal. That's patriarchal because it's like wives be subject to your husbands, and this is from Ephesians, from the Bible, and basically because he's the head over you. Like wives, just like I have this old cookbook that says, greet your husband at the door with a ribbon in your hair. And make sure the kids are quiet and don't, he's had a long day at work. So fetch him his paper and his slippers like a dog, So yeah, I mean, that would bristle me too. I'd be like, yeah, I heard that.
I'm kind of like skimming it right now.
Yeah, you can pop up anything you want to pop up. And
I can?
Yeah, you have the power. Take your mouse and click on stuff. On the start or the chat, whatever you want to do.
Oh, okay. No, I'm skimming the chapter Two Wives.
Oh, the chapter. Oh,
yeah. It's like it's around 105.
You can share stuff. It's share screen, or you can send stuff to me, and I can share it if you want. It's up to you. Or let's just put some We can
If
just put
anybody
some
is in the chat
references.
who, if anybody in the chat has read that chapter of the big book lately, I would love to. I'm just actually trying to go to the end so I can see like what the end message is, because it does, I will say in the beginning, do a lot of validating of like, yeah, you've been treated like shit. This has been like a total bummer. We never try to arrange a man's life so as to shield him from temptation. The slightest disposition on your part to guide his appointments or his affairs so he will not be tempted will be noticed. Make him feel absolutely free to come home and go as he likes. This is important. If he gets drunk, don't blame yourself. God has either removed your husband's liquor problem or he, with a capital H, has not. If not, it had better be found out right away. Then you and your husband can get right down to fundamentals. If a repetition is to be prevented, place the problem along with everything else in God's hands. Holy fuck! Okay, we realize that
I'm writing feverishly.
We realize that we have been giving you much direction and advice. We may have seemed to lecture. A little bit of mansplaining from back in the day. If that is so, we are sorry, for we ourselves don't always care for people who lecture us. But what we have related is based upon experiences. Some of it is painful. We had to learn these things the hard way. That is why we are anxious that you understand and that you avoid these unnecessary difficulties. So to you out there who may soon be with us, we say good luck and God bless you.
Now, this is the book, the thick book, the big book, and this is still all there in the big book.
Yeah, I just got this off AA's website right now.
Okay. Oh, all right. Thank you.
I feel so... I'm not going to talk about it again, but I feel so validated against everything that this troll in the chat was saying.
Well, they're
about,
gone.
Like,
the troll's gone.
I know. But I'm just like, I'm feeling, as I read that, because like, bitch, it's been a hot minute since I read the big book. I just had a bunch of revelations recently when my ex, Christian friends, were trying to stump me with their Christian ass language, and I was
Speaking
like,
of, Fallon says hi.
Hi, Fallon. I was like, a lot of that sounds super familiar, and not because I was ever affiliated with religion in any other capacity than AA. And I'm sorry, did I not just say God like 4 times in? Yep. And it was, wow, it was a very fetch him his paper fucking vibe. Like, holy shit. But that's to partners too, to be fair. So it's saying like, hey, partners, don't fucking push them into sobriety because.
But it still says wives now.
The chapter is still called To Wives.
To the wives.
Yeah, but it's not called To the Wives. It's just called Two
Wives. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We can pop that. I don't know, you guys. All the chapters are online if you would like to take a look.
Well,
I was not expecting to find that. Holy shit.
That's like when you have brave. You're putting yourself out there. I have these epiphanies too. I'm just like, I'll be in the middle of like answering a question like to Doug or whoever, I'm talking to, and I'm like, oh my God, what? Like it just comes back to you. And you're like, you get an epiphany or a revelation. You get a revelation.
I was tripping out during that recording because I was like, oh my God, I was in kind of a Christian-ish kind of cult for like 4 years.
Fallon said, we could not stump her.
No, I'm an amazing Christian. Hallowed be thy name, y'all. Right? Am I right? Fruitful labor and shit.
Fruit of your labor.
So
be fruitful and multiply. That's what I was told.
Are you serious? I thought that was from the fucking Handmaid's Tale.
It's from the Bible. Be fruitful and multiply. I was told that until I was fruitful with 3 kids that ended up like me when my daughter, the Jezebel at 7.
Why was she being such a harlot though? Why was she being such a little 6-7 year old?
7 years old. I didn't know she she took some chiclets from the food bank that was supposed to be free, you know, and yeah, she got demons cast out of her, and yeah, I
Really
don't think
quick, I
that's
just want
very
to say,
harlot.
like oh, yeah, wait, fuck, I forgot I can do stuff.
You can click, yeah, click it.
Kat, thank you so much. You've been really supportive throughout the stream. I've seen you say several
Thank you,
very
Kat.
validating things. I really
Thank
appreciate
you, Kat.
that. Also, Lori, I'm a
She
Christian,
is.
but that's my faith, and I don't push my stuff on others.
She
Dude, I
doesn't.
fucking
I love her.
love you. I have an amazing friend
Lori
who's
plays awesome. I love her so
that's
much.
cool. No, I have a friend who is very fucking Christian. She's actually separating herself from a mega church
Yes,
right
Barb.
now that
Lori plays
started
not
espousing really fucking anti-gay views, and her daughter is gay, so she was like, "Fuck you guys, I'm out." But she's looking for a new church currently, and she's so cute. She got that sounds like infantilizing or something. I just thought it was very cool of her. She put her new bumper sticker in the Discord and it said, "The Christian left because some of us still care about being nice to our neighbors," or something like that. And I just loved that because I think there are so many awesome Christians who are like fucking being good to thy neighbor and shit, you know?
Yeah.
And the fundies, the fundamentalists, and you know, the extremist Christians who are fucking shoving it down your throat and bringing it into politics and stuff. I'm just not cool with them. But actually, doing the podcast has been wild because I realized how close-minded I was. Now I have friends who are Republican and Christian and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, we can have different opinions and be friends. Wild.
Yeah, and I think
As
when we
well-
say Christian, it's like it's such a broad term, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's-
I know people that act like great Christians that are Christians, and some that aren't, you know, that some that don't profess to be. But I think that when I'm talking about the harmful aspects of religion and stuff, the culty aspects, it's usually almost always either fundamental or the literal, you know, the people that are just so legalistic, where it's word for word for word, and also just being judgmental to each other. And I know plenty of Christians that aren't, and plenty of Republicans that aren't, or whatever. I don't like to go into politics or anything. It doesn't, you know, that doesn't matter to me. But it's you know, just human decency and kindness is what I look for in a quote Christian or a decent human. You know?
No, same. And I think that it's really cool. Doing the podcast has really opened my eyes. I think I was really one-sided before, and now I really try to understand. I watched such a good documentary recently called White Right Meeting the Enemy about neo-Nazis in America, and this Muslim European woman, I think she was from Denmark. It was a D country in Europe. She goes and she's a journalist, and she goes and spends time with these neo-Nazis, and you see their fucking brain getting scrambled because she is who they've been conditioned to hate. And then she's in front of them and she's fucking awesome and charming and they get along, and like, so that was so interesting to me because, you know, before I was like, fuck neo-Nazis, fuck Nazis. But like, I understand how when you're indoctrinated into that, and that's what all the people around you believe, and you go to a church where they pat you on the back and say, way to be a good soldier for Christ. That's from the documentary, okay, you guys? I don't know what church he went to, but I'm just saying it was so eye-opening because I was like, I can't even be fucking mad at these people. She asked him, the leader, why did you read Mein Kampf when you were 13? And he said, I don't know. And she said, how did it make you feel? And again, he was like, I don't know. Why are we doing so many questions? Like, he got seriously uncomfortable because he had never been challenged as to where he got his views from.
Right.
Somebody fucking shoved Mein Kampf into his hands at 13. That's like the Nazi Bible for anybody who doesn't know. And said, this is what the fuck is up. And the way that he looked, it looked like when he did read it at 13, like he wasn't immediately like, fuck yeah. Like he seemed, you know, I'm conjecting, but he seemed like, it was the first time he ever questioned how he felt when he read it. And maybe it was a little bit weird because it's a very hateful text and you're a
Right.
child, you know?
Yeah.
So great documentary, you guys. I highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, people are saying it's a really good documentary. Yeah, and that was one of the most surprising things for me coming out of the cult was how nice people were on the outside. It was just like, oh, they're evil, and you're gonna end up in the dung heap, and you're gonna just be, swept away into hell, and God's gonna, judge you. And I realized that like it was them that were being, the judgmental assholes,
You're like,
and
hey.
keeping me in this prison, So they were like the meanies. So yeah,
But you know what I like to say? Whoever smelt it dealt it.
yeah, right. Oh yeah. Well, that's what
You know?
narcissists do, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Sociopaths. They blame
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. They'll
They're like,
project
hey,
it
you
on
did that. And you're like, wait, I'm super confused. I thought you're the one who did
Yeah.
that. Wait, what?
Totally.
Ah,
Totally.
yeah.
So let me just say,
I guess really quick, my last
Yeah, go ahead.
kind of thing was I wanted to say, sometimes Christians called non-Christians, non-believers or non-Christians, and
heathens.
I'm going with like the softer one, and a lot of people in the AA or the 12-step communities call people who don't, or people who can drink or do drugs normally, normies. Like I said, it's like, oh, I think Marilyn's been hanging out with normies and I'm afraid she's going to go out. That means like, I'm afraid Marilyn's been hanging out with people who drink and do drugs. And I'm afraid she's going to relapse and leave the program.
So, okay. So I'm Marilyn. I'm an alcoholic and
Hi, Marilyn.
Hi. I just remember having like I went to AA with my biological father a couple times. I just remember burning my mouth on the coffee that had. I actually put powdered creamer in it for the occasion. Hey, Martin. Yeah.
Hey, boo. That's my man's.
Oh, Martin. Hey. He's a genius, by the way, Martin. You came up with some great ideas. I'm so
United
excited.
States of Scamerica. Yeah.
I love it.
He never read it, Martin? What?
Never read it through.
Oh, we watched that documentary together. He often is the one who recommends.
You gotta get him on. Now that you have a channel, you can just you can roll out of bed.
It's so exciting.
You can roll out of bed. Yeah.
I can get up and yell at people on the internet. I need a mod. I cannot go live apparently because I can't handle myself.
You definitely need a mod. Yeah. You need a mod.
You know what? I see you. Psycho.
You need a handler. You need like an Ashley Wrangler.
Well, I kind of have one. He's in the chat.
Okay.
And then just like some of the rest of the steps is made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. So, it is as you understand him, but blah, 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 admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Okay. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character, humbly asked him, capital H, to remove our shortcomings, made a list of all persons we had harmed. I'm saying these together because they're kind of together, and became willing to make amends to them all. Made direct amends to each possible person, to such people.
Wait, are these the steps? Are these the steps? Okay, wait, can you back up a minute? What about the will of God or something?
I was just trying, it says God a lot. So,
where's the will part?
Humbly, so admitted
before that.
Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him.
Okay, that's cringy to me. I'm sorry.
I skipped over that. Like, what? No big deal. What are you even talking about?
Well, okay, we're gonna say fundy Christianity. Okay, I'm not picking on this whole thing about surrendering yourself. Basically, you're presenting yourself to God. You're turning your whole life over to him, right? Mm-hmm. Like as if
Which
God
they
didn't
say
give
it's
you
God
a
as
mind.
you understand him, but they capitalize him. They capitalize him. And
Okay.
he.
Him as I understand him. So if I understand him to be this exacting God with a hammer in the sky, ready to pounce on me, and that's pretty much what I, you know, understood God to be, was that I had there's the whole like complete surrender, total surrender,
Yeah.
where you don't have control. No wonder why they say you're completely powerless, because you're giving your power. You're giving it whatever power you have left over, right? To this
Yeah,
being.
because you're
And
powerless and
people
you're
in
out
the
of
chat
control.
can you know, they don't have to agree, but I'm just saying, like, another thing I just want to say while I'm on my, you know, rant here, is that
Yay, I'm not the only one
we are
ranting.
okay. I just want to say that, like, I do like to talk about Scientology. I love to listen to people's stories. I like to be in, I love SBTV, but I also have a passion to delve into these things that are, you know, I'm not an ex-Scientologist. I'm a cult survivor, yes, but I also have had some cults of one in my life. I've had some trauma, and I do want to. So many people in my chats and they email me, tell me about, you know, bad relationships or different things that they've gone through, just traumatic experiences. So if I just want some feedback too from you guys, I'll probably keep going on the direction I'm going anyways, even if everybody hates it and only 8 people watch. But I do want to feedback.
We
Like,
have
is
50
this,
people
see,
watching.
awesome? You know, I hope this isn't making you feel uncomfortable, but if it is, it's okay. Like, I totally understand if this isn't. I'm not everyone's cup of tea or cup of, you know, shitty coffee
Cup
or
of
any,
shitty
like,
coffee.
sup of shitty coffee right here. I'm not. So if you like what you're hearing, like if you want to dig deep into some of these other types of things, if you like the fact that Ashley has been super fucking brave coming out here and telling her story, and I'm telling you, honey, and I'm gonna try not to cry, but you are so brave, because
Oh, don't.
who
You're going to
does
make me
this, you
cry.
know?
Stop.
No, I mean, you put yourself out there. It's not fucking easy. It's not easy. So,
You know, a
thank
lot
you.
of
Thank you for
people,
sharing with
well,
us.
thank you. I mean, I've wanted to talk about this for a long time, but actually, a lot of people don't want to talk to me about it. Um, well, I think one of this is an assumption on my part. I think it's maybe because like I don't have a crazy AA story. Like nothing bad really happened to me, you know. Like I look back now and I'm like, that was kind of Christiany and kind of culty. But I like and did I feel shamed and shit? You're like, yeah. But oh, I wanted to highlight the other one too because they said Ash and Marilyn, you're helping people because I wanted to say thank you.
Can
I
you
think that
find
was
it?
I think that was Kat again. Um, Kat's
God.
saying very nice things.
All right.
No, no, that's not it. Hold on. Oh,
Maybe
wait,
Peggy
I
can
found it.
find
I
it because
found
I'm
it. I found
blind.
it.
Oh, you got it.
Thank you, Marilyn and Dash. Thank you guys for listening. Yeah, and then I think
Yeah,
a
we're
lot of
not trying to
people.
attack on one's religion. No, we're not trying to invalidate your experience. If you had a great experience in AA, we're not trying to attack your religion. Ash is just telling from her heart what happened to her, and we need to, you know, not need to. But I'm just saying, I respect it, and I know that you guys do too. And Denver Stevo, Ash, you're so fucking awesome for sharing your story. Please
Thank
do it
you.
again.
Yeah, I think also too a lot of channels and podcasts and stuff are afraid to talk about AA's culty because, like we saw when I popped the fuck off for a little bit, that like some people get really fucking victim blamey about AA, and they're like, "Well, if you
Right,
fucking if it," and
right,
and that was like
yeah,
that was actually kind of a really prime example of what I'm talking about. It's like
yeah,
if AA didn't work for you, or if you have anything negative to say about it, like some AA people will fucking come at you, and it's like, listen. I
yeah.
said it saved my life to begin with. I
Right.
needed to do
But
that shit.
you can ask questions and you can criticize. You're not in a cult, right? And that's the thing is, like,
And
if
that's
I
pretty
only have
fucking
8 people
culty, right?
watching,
To
yeah,
say
if I only
you
have
can't
eight
question
people
or
watching,
criticize that.
listen, for the next however many years I do this, if I have 5 people watching, 1 person watching, 2 people watching, 20 people watching, 2,000 people watching, I want to have the same idea, the same attitude is I'm not going to be afraid to tell the truth. I'm not going to be afraid to ask questions. I'm not going to be afraid to let people tell their stories or to criticize. Say, I don't mean criticize the person that's pouring their heart out. I mean, the status quo, right? Like, why is this happening? I wasn't allowed to ask questions in the cult. I wasn't allowed to have my own opinions or my own, thoughts, anything. I had to give my, what was it? My will humbly to
Oh,
God as I understood him,
yeah.
So that does sound, I'm sorry, guys, that does sound a little culty,
Right.
honestly.
And thank
Kind of
you for
does.
like having the fucking bravery too to get on the goddamn internet with me and say this. Cause like I said, a lot of people shy away from it because they're like, oh, that's tough because it saved so many people and stuff. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, how about we realize that the world isn't black and white? There are a lot of shades of gray, and things can be culty and they can be helpful. Like they can be fucking both at the same time. And I think my new favorite thing is pissing people off. So I have to like really stop getting upset when they get mad. But like I want to
Yeah.
fucking be like, "Hey, if you're shaming people for not doing recovery right or for being a slut or a harlot or a Jezebel or you're fucking spiritually abusing people or you're fucking taking advantage of people financially because you're in an MLM or you're not doing any fucking homework and sending your troubled child to fucking abuse camps, fuck off. I'm coming for you." Um
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it
so
needs
I
to be,
mean, I guess
I
like
think it needs to be talked
that's just
about.
like shit
Yeah.
that people don't want to say though
Right.
because it's controversial.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really appreciate you giving me a platform to be able to talk about
Hey,
my
it's your
experience in
story,
AA.
and I can relate to some of it. Like I said, again, we're just gonna keep saying it over and over and over. And not everybody feels that AA is culty, and I'm glad that they don't. I'm glad that they didn't feel pressure to, be a Christian or believe in a God. There's some meetings that aren't religious at all. That's great, but there's some that are, and your specific story is valid, and you have a right to tell it. And as long as I'm breathing and on the internet, I'm going to give people a space, a safe space to tell their stories, whether I agree with them or not. But in this case, a lot of it resonated with me, and I'm sort of like an outsider because I've been, like I said, 3 AA meetings, with 2 with my biological father where I burned my mouth on the coffee, and one with a friend that just wanted me to go, and I was just bored and I didn't go back. So I just went to support her. I went to support her. Then I went out partying, honestly.
It's really funny because I actually have a friend who loved going to AA meetings with me. She was not an
Really?
alcoholic. She was just like, I just love hearing everybody's stories. Because a lot of it is like, sometimes there's different kind of groups. Sometimes you'll do book studies where you like study the big book. Sometimes you'll just do sharing groups, whatever. There's different kinds. Somebody blah blah. Somebody asked, I'd love to know alternative non-religious programs for alternatives to AA. I haven't done Smart Recovery, but it looks like Kat knows some stuff about it.
I'm a
Um,
facilitator.
yeah,
So
that sounds
let,
awesome,
let me
Kat.
ask let me ask everyone, you and everyone in the chat that's had experiences with alcoholism, or somebody they know, somebody they love, like,
Oh,
do
like
you
also
think that
raise your hand. I feel like it's
so
everybody.
AA isn't the only way, right? I mean, that does
No.
sound a little culty too.
Okay.
That
Here's
does
what
sound a little culty, like if people are telling you AA is the only way to stay sober.
No,
That can't
this is
be
what blew
true.
my mind the other day because I've always like kind of I was like, yeah, it's crazy to me that I never joined a cult because I was going to this kind of like Eastern philosophical trauma porn. Yeah, maybe a little bit. As long as we can bond over it, right? OBG Foster.
It's trauma porn. Like cult porn. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about
Yeah.
cult porn the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and actually, if anybody has either personal experience with
Rational
any
recovery.
drug or alcohol addiction themselves or knows somebody who struggles with addiction, can you put any emoji in the chat? Because I would love to see how prevalent this is, because something I really want to do by talking about it is break the stigma. So put an emoji in the chat if you or someone you know has struggled with drug or alcohol addiction. two. I got two. Well, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. See, 6.
It'll keep coming.
Yeah. So, and that's why I that's why I want to talk about addiction, is because it's so stigmatized still, and it's so prevalent. I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who didn't at least know somebody who struggled with drugs or alcohol. And yeah, I've heard really good things about smart recovery. I also I'm looking at AmericanAddictionCenters.org right now. There's also Women for Sobriety, secular organizations for sobriety, Life Ring, secular recovery, moderate. So yeah, lots of stuff that is not. I think they realized that there was a real need for recovery programs that weren't based on religion. Also, like I said, I think I was very
Or just other,
privileged.
like just alternatives, right? I mean, not
Yeah.
every program works for every person.
Yeah, and
So
and
I'm just
like I
going
said,
down the line. Everyone's sending emojis. Everybody knows
that's
somebody
wild.
at least. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually not wild. It doesn't surprise me at all. And AA saved me at a certain time. Before I got sober going to rehab, like I could not stay sober in AA. I was going to a ton of meetings and stuff, but like I just could not stay sober for the life of me. And that's the thing about alcoholism. Like it's insanity. And I went to like a 90-day inpatient facility, and then I went to a few more of those, and I think that like being separated from the situations, the environments, the people where I was doing all my drinking, like for me, I think that was really important. I also, after some meetings, would just want to go and get drunk. Like just sitting there and fucking thinking and talking about alcohol for an hour. I was like, well, let's fucking go have some of that shit. That's good stuff, So, yeah.
Can I ask you,
Yeah.
have you heard about anything about this, of whether it's true or not? I'm not saying it's not true, Kat. I'm just surprised that AA has a 5% documented success rate, yet is the recommended recovery program in the psychology. Is that true?
So, like a lot of judges will send people to court mandated 12-step programs and stuff too. What the hell did I just pulled something off the wall with my foot. But looks like we are okay.
Well, your sign's still there, so that's good.
Because it's really hard to get statistic on AA and other 12-step programs because they are anonymous, so they don't keep records of their members. Therefore, if somebody stops going, they don't know if they stayed sober or if they went and got drunk. So I think that, the stats are really hard to tell on that. Somebody else said, I've heard of a 7% success rate. I mean, yeah, it's the fact.
Well, you know what? If you went to Narcanon, Scientology, Narcanon, they have a, 78% something crazy, like 70, 80, 90%. And the usual, it's under 20%, I think.
Right.
For most of them. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, inappropriate heifer, that you lost a friend that was clean then died on the first relapse. I was actually sponsoring a girl in NA who had fibromyalgia, got fucking addicted to, I think, OxyContin or the addictive one that they give people. And then she got addicted to heroin, and I was living with her for quite a while, and I was sponsoring her, and then I was, holy shit, I was in Europe, and her mom called me and told me that she had had a relapse and OD'd. That shit fucked me up for like a year. It's not like we were like really good friends, but like she was like a baby sister to me. Like she was like in her early 20s. She was so fucking sweet. And I had like been on this journey with her, you know?
Yeah.
So it's the really sad fact is that most alcoholics and addicts don't get fucking sober or clean. They
Yeah.
die from their disease or they die still very much in their disease, you know? I watch a lot of documentaries. This one was good. Oh, I brought it up earlier, Telemarketers on Max. And this guy said, he was talking about how he does like heroin daily. And he's like, yeah, and at one point, like I'm going to get a really good batch and I'm going to put that shit in my arm and it's going to feel really amazing. And then I'm going to drop dead. Like he was just like, that's how it goes. Like that's what's going to happen. Like I know my story because it's preordained by so many other people. Like sadly, people who get addicted to heroin often like don't make it more than a couple years after they start their addiction. But yeah, a lot of people also are just, you know, really heavy problem drinkers, aren't necessarily alcoholics, but like it really fucks up their life, which is actually kind of generally a sign of alcoholism is like if it's fucking up your life and you can't stop, then that's probably a sign that you need some help. Like if it's affecting your relationships and your jobs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my hubby just weighed in. His best friend's brother died from alcoholism and young in his 40s and just cirrhosis and everything. And he used to, you know, he was, we believe that he was gay and he was a elementary school teacher and he was a teacher of the year, nicest guy, and just would drink like a, you know, big bottle of whiskey like every day. He just couldn't face like his, you know, his own life. Like he was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. And Dunk said I self-medicated for some years for stress relief. Yeah. A lot of, I mean, for me too, it's like a lot of those things, like when you said about your friend having fibromyalgia, I've had days where I'd wake up and not be able to move and say, I remember being in my late 30s and say, how am I going to live the rest of my life like this? Like, I don't want to be 85 and still not being able to get out of bed. I feel 85. I feel 95, you know?
Yeah.
And I did take all the things and thank God I didn't get it or whatever. Thank Xenu or the universe, whatever, that I didn't get addicted to one thing. Okay, then.
Thank fuck.
Thank fuck.
Oh,
I know I'm a little bit. I'm not being a very good Jezebel.
Come on, get your hoe on.
Thank fuck.
I saw a couple.
Click on whatever.
Thank you, thank you so much. My heart goes out to anybody who, you know, has experienced losing someone to addiction. Death does happen on relapse a lot because people will. Not so much on alcoholism. We're kind of talking more about drugs now, but like with heroin, often. Woo, yeah, Vaughn.
It's catching on. You're
like
making,
a lot of people.
You're making fetch happen. You're making fuck happen.
Oh, we should maybe like hashtag thank fuck. What new hashtag? Yeah. So a lot of people will take the same dose or do the same amount, and unfortunately, pass away or OD because they're like, oh, I'll just, you know, I'll do a whatever, however much I used to do. But yeah, after a long time. And then also, like I said in the beginning, something that I think AA doesn't touch on enough is that you can like fucking die from, if you're like the type of person who's got, you know, going in the direction of cirrhosis of the liver and stuff, like stopping alcohol cold turkey can literally kill you. Detoxing is actually pretty fucking important. And it's something that AA doesn't touch on at all.
Really?
I think kind of the last thing is, okay, let me go over the rest of the steps and you can just whoa, if anything really steps up to you.
I can't believe it's been 2 hours. So
I know.
Whatever
I'm
you
like,
want to
is it too
wind
long?
it down, whatever. No,
okay.
Whatever you
okay.
Whatever you want us to do.
So made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Humbly asked, capital H, him, to remove our shortcomings, made a list of all persons we had harmed, and became willing to make amends to them all, and made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So if you like cheated on your wife and she didn't find out, you probably wouldn't tell her, because what she doesn't know doesn't hurt her. Which, I don't know. I don't completely disagree with that. I mean, that's a whole other fucking subject, you know, like fidelity. I don't know about that one. It's whatever. But so I had to find a reason why I was abused in childhood. I had to find what my part in that was.
Like you pulled it in? Like you did something bad to?
No,
like what
not
were
really.
you wearing?
My part in being abused in childhood was, I didn't have any part then, but my part after was being a woman in my late 20s who was still holding on to resentment towards my parents.
For being abused?
Uh-huh. For not having forgiven them. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of something that I would rather come to on my own in therapy.
Yeah, I don't think yeah, I mean.
And also, I wasn't sexually assaulted when I was in the program, so I wonder what my part would have been in those things. Was it because I was out late at night? Was I dressed slutty? I'm very curious as to what a sponsor would say, because I have to find everything. If I'm mad at you, I have to find what's wrong with me to make me mad at you. Like everything you have to turn on to yourself and say, what's my defect of character here? Am I not being forgiving? Am I being resentful?
So you're not supposed to get mad. You're not supposed to hate injustice or get mad, or, I mean, it does seem like victim
Not
blaming.
really, because if you're angry and you're sitting in that anger, like that's your fault. Right. You should go do an inventory.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. Like you said, you know, you'd like to come that on your own, like, but not feeling pressured to do it. Like with me, it's been better for me to forgive.
Punch somebody in the face today if they said, "So what's your part in your sexual assault?" I would fucking kick them in their vagina or whatever they have. Like, no. So, yeah, I don't know, you guys. I think the thing is that AA saves lives. A lot of 12-step programs are great. There's really amazing people in it. There's amazing meetings. It can also be pretty fucking controlling and harmful. And I think if you get to a point where it's not working for you anymore, it can become very maladaptive. And I think there are plenty ways to stay sober. Just like, you know, I went to a yoga type of meditation type of meeting one time, and they said, you were, they go, you know, there's only one truth though, right? And I was like, that's so weird, because I feel like I
Red
hear
flag number one.
My phone is ringing in my car. I can hear it actually. And then I was like, wow, I am like so fucking street savvy, because if anybody ever told me that there was only one truth, like that one time that it happened, I would be like, no, you can't know that, so you're wrong. But the funny thing is that
I'm glad
you had the
sense. I'm glad you had that sense, because I believed it. That
but for years in AA, I was like, anybody who thinks they can stay sober without the program is fucking kidding themselves. Like, I legitimately thought people were joking themselves if they thought that they could do sobriety on their own. I was like, I tried that fat chance. It's like, okay, everybody's different though.
Right. Like, so it's not like a tool. It's like, this is the end all be all. And that's the thing, is it's the extremism. It's like, you have to buy this hook, line, and sinker. You can't, you know, pick and choose or
you can
have your own thinking.
They do say, take what you like and leave the rest. So they do give you like some, you know, hey, if this part doesn't work for you, like kind of omit it, you know. I'm not, so like, yeah, I don't want to say the program's all bad, because it's like, it's not. Right. But there are some really fucking problematic things about it, which I think we've done a really good job covering here today. I hope.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Should we like pull up some we'll pull up some questions that came up earlier, and if you have any other questions, feel free to Kat, yes, it's called being a dry drunk. If you're fucking sober and you're not, or if you're sober or you're not drinking, but you're not working the program, you're called a dry junk because you may have removed the alcohol, but you still have those drunken asshole tendencies.
Oh,
Because
okay.
if you in AA, I told you it's pretty fundamentalism sobriety. You
You
can't.
said an Al-Anon,
I
right?
take Valium for panic disorder, and I smoke weed because I like to. And I haven't had a drink in 5 years. So,
Okay.
and before that, I only had like a drink here for one day, and then like a drink there for a year and a half. So I've been sober for most
I'm
of.
laughing. I'm sorry, honey. I'm just laughing because I drank this whole fucking cup of coffee. So I gotta pee, but I don't want to cut it off. So
Oh
you
shit.
keep
Okay.
going. So let's
Okay.
take turns if you need to pee too.
I probably have.
Peggy's in the background. She's going to have your back. I'll be right back. All
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Okay.
I
And you
don't.
keep it going.
Okay.
And
What was
then
I
I'll
saying?
come back.
I
All
forgot.
right.
Do
You
you
were
know?
talking about dry drunks.
Oh right. Okay.
Okay.
So
I'll be right back.
yeah. So I would not be considered sober in AA, and I've definitely had people. I've joined like sober groups on Facebook, which is just always a nightmare because it's Facebook. And I had people tell me that I wasn't sober, and I was like, I don't think you decide that for me. I kind of think that's a me decision. So, if you're struggling out there, you can decide what works for you. It's your fucking decision whether or not you're sober. It's your decision whether or not you are or were in a cult. Like, I'm not, and I know fucking Marilyn too, is not, neither of us are trying to tell you that don't go to AA, don't be a Christian, don't be religious, don't do 12-step programs. That's not the message here at all. The message is that 12-step programs can be pretty culty. There's definitely some problematic shit going on that's pretty kind of like insider language, pretty patriarchal, pretty fucking religious, even though it's like not really religious, pretty shame-based. And you say the Lord's Prayer and the Serenity Prayer a lot, and those are religious as fuck. So, listening intently, 14 years sober at AA, but I can no longer get past the first paragraph of how it works. I don't actually remember the first paragraph, but Lumen, reading that last paragraph of the chapter 2 Wives, that's TO for anybody who is just tuning in. After reading how crazy that shit was, I'm like, I kind of shiny, something new is shiny. I'm like, now I want to like go through the big book as like a book study, but not another project, Ashley. Okay, was just reading this morning about how toxic the mindset can be regarding AA. It's one approach, definitely not for me. Cat Jack, absolutely, and I think that's what one of the problems is they really push that like this is the only way to stay sober, and you're only sober if you're doing it by AA's definitions. And yeah, for me it I just didn't like it at the end. Juliana, I actually like the Serenity Prayer too. I think it's a beautiful prayer. I liked the Lord's Prayer too. I was like, this sounds nice. But I just don't think they belong in a non-religious organization. A non-religious organization. Love this. Maybe they need to stop calling it a prayer and more of an affirmation. Yeah, like take God out. And I think probably some people do. But I think at meetings, it's generally, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Blah, blah, blah. If you think you're an alcoholic, you probably are. Yeah, Faye also said if you think you're in a cult, you probably are. And I'm going to go ahead and give an amen to both of those situations.
Amen.
Hi, girl.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Well, that's weird that I
Can
knew
I
that
get
was
an
coming.
amen?
That was crazy. So yeah, Faye and Tampa B, I actually agree. If you think you're in a cult, you might be in a cult.
Okay.
If you think you're an alcoholic,
if you think you might be
an
a
alcoholic.
redneck, you might be a redneck. Yeah.
Yep, you got it. You got it.
Tampa B, I love you. I love Barb. She's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's some great people in this chat. You know, the one bad apple, you know, there's always one. It's like whatever, but there's some awesome people. We love
like
you guys.
Juliana said, I'm saying like,
oh, sorry, Juliana.
Oh, that's
sorry.
okay. Like I'm with what you are saying. Whatever works for people. Like I was just getting mad at somebody in the chat earlier because AA is their jam, and that's totally fucking cool. And I never said it wasn't. And they were like, "Well, it sounds like you're blaming on AA for going out," and I was like, it sounds like you're being an AA agent who's coming on here and being blamey and telling me I went out, which is exactly why I left your support group. So, and like Juliana says, learning to change. What if it like be adaptable? If that shit stops working, do something else. Like now I don't do any kind of program. I do go to therapy twice a week. Which we may have cut down to once a week because my therapist was like, we're not doing the real work because you keep putting it off. Whatever, you know. EMDR, guys, look into that. Eye movement rapid desensitization or something. It's when you like go into your memories and reprocess them, and it's hardcore shit, but it's really good if you.
I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right here with a box of Kleenex and all you all.
You're like, I'm already doing it. Okay, I'm not gonna pay somebody. Oh, I cry like every day. Good stuff. And thank you for everybody in the chat who supported.
Remember to breathe. That's
my therapist reminds me of that a lot, actually. Thank you.
My chat taught me how box breathing, and it actually works. I do it before I come on. Or maybe it doesn't totally work because I still cry. But
this is so sad. Losing a therapist. I would like if my therapist actually told me she was moving practices, and I thought she was going to tell me that like she couldn't see me anymore, and I burst into tears immediately. So I'm so sorry, witness. That fucking sucks. I hope you can find somebody else. Tampa B, I know it doesn't work for everybody, and I think that's like why I feel like that might be part of my hump, is that I'm like having a hard time believing that it works, because I'm like, well, why would it? But like, why wouldn't it? So I don't know. I feel like, but also I talked about DBT earlier, dialectical behavioral therapy. Amazing shit if you have like borderline tendencies, or if you have addictive tendencies, or like if you just present as kind of, you know.
There's a question about OBG Foster had a question about DBT.
I actually answered that earlier.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I said that acceptance in AA is accepting that you're powerless over alcohol, that you need a higher power to restore you to sanity, whatever. Radical acceptance in DBT is accepting like what is happening in your life. Because I love this quote by Eckhart Tolle. He says that like, if you don't like a situation, change it, accept it, or leave. All else is madness, or something like that. So that's kind of like, I feel like same as radical acceptance. It's like, if you can't accept something, like change it or leave it. And if you can't change that situation and you can't leave it, like, and I understand how fucked up that might sound as like a cult member, but like that's like bounded choice. I feel like you kind of have to reach some sort of acceptance in your mind. The point kind of is because like you'll fucking lose your mind if you're in a situation and you can't leave it, you can't change it, and you can't accept it, because you're just fighting what is, at least for that time. And maybe it'll change, but at that time you're just fighting like what your reality is. And
yeah,
I think sometimes you can't control your fucking reality. You're stuck in a situation. You are in a situation of bounded choice, and not that you should accept that, but
Right.
So it's like it's not. I don't know. It's I guess one of those
So,
things that I
so
wouldn't say
speaking
is
of
true in
like
all
having
situations.
wanting
But
control, like okay, so there's a question for me actually, Aaron, Marilyn, have you ever done drugs before? I'm gonna tell you. I've tried several things once. I have like back in the 80s because I'm old. Okay, I did try to smoke weed a few times. It just made me paranoid, hungry, and tired. And that was just wasn't fun. I do like to imbibe with a little bit of alcohol. I did take it too far and
I'm sorry.
totally
Is
quit.
imbibe not biblical?
It is biblical,
Were
I
you saying
think.
that on purpose, or is it that just us saying biblical
I'm
shit
gonna.
on
Oh, okay. I better
accident?
write it down. I let it. I just say it because it's that's it comes back to me.
Is it
So yeah,
biblical, you
partake.
guys?
Well, non-biblical people probably use it too, but I asked Kelly and Doug if about imbibing. They had never heard the word in their life, and and Kelly's like, "How do you spell that?" So yeah,
It doesn't
it is
appear to have religious origins.
no okay. Well,
It, it
they had
it
never heard
appears
of
to
it.
more have to do with drinking. To
Yeah,
imbibe
so
is
I
to
like
drink.
or to
But also,
take it
I've
in.
never heard a secular
Imbibe
person
can
say, I'm going to imbibe tonight. It's like, I'm going to
no
get shit canned. I'm going to drink. I'm going to have a glass of
true.
wine. I'm going to go
I
get
say
hammered.
imbibe.
One of
I
those
say imbibe.
things.
Yeah. You say shit can. Let's call the whole thing off. Yeah. So
Wait, oh,
Marilyn,
yeah.
have you done drugs? I did cocaine once. It didn't do anything to me.
We're
I don't know why.
confessing our sins. I love it.
I did. I took some thing that was supposed to be like a stamp thing or something, like acid. Didn't do anything. Like I didn't have any reaction, and I kind of almost like
I took
I
a
like to be in
stamp.
control. I don't like to. I don't know what that was in the 80s.
I think it's like
Had
a piece
Mickey
of
Mouse.
paper that they
I had
like
Mickey Mouse
dropped
on
like
it. Yeah. It
liquid
didn't do
LSD
anything.
onto.
Yeah, so it didn't do anything. I didn't have nothing, but I was always afraid to ever do any of that stuff again. Never tried the really bad, the H word. Never. No, no, no. I knew better than that because I was just like, if
You
I
never
ended up
tried
liking it,
hell?
I'd be scared. Yeah, no.
You never tried
No, I
Humpty
didn't.
Dumpty? What's H?
No. Heroin?
You're so cute. I just wanted to make you say it. Luckily, I never did heroin either because in high school, my best friend told me that her dad told her that he once did heroin and it was the best thing he ever did. So he never did it again. And I was
Yeah.
really smart because at 16, I vowed to myself, Ashley, you love shit that makes you feel good. You
Right.
should never
Yeah.
do the thing that will make you feel the best. That's the most addictive thing in the world. So luckily, like I never fucking touched heroin. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful because I probably would have liked it.
Right. Yeah. So
You,
I
you
think
couldn't put
with me, it was
too
like
many drugs
I
in front
always
of
wanted to
me.
feel like I like to feel in control. Of course, when you get a little tipsy, you imbibe and you get a little tipsy, you kind of lose a little bit of control. But I like to feel happy. So I don't like anything that's gonna make me like like weed just makes me feel. It just makes me feel like paranoid. Like I see my eyes are open and I'm just like oh whoa, and then I just want to eat something and pass out. So what's fun about that? But that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, I
So
can. I mean,
so yeah, that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
I like it. Wait, somebody said. I guess I could have started. I still don't really. This is
Yeah,
hard.
you can start stuff.
Somebody said something. I was like, yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Somebody.
You ladies have been so great. Oh, go ahead. These chats are my therapy. There you go.
Hell yeah. I love
And
therapy
and
so
Barb, I did
much.
see you say earlier. I wanted to pop it up, but we were in the middle of something else. About like chronic conditions, which can be trauma related. So I think that, like in my case, my fibromyalgia was a bodily manifestation of all the stuff I had stuffed down for many, 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 many years, and just constantly being in pain. I could have ended up being a drug addict just to dull the pain, and well, I'm sorry, I'm getting fucking emotional, but waking up, not being able to move your muscles, it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. So I do sometimes feel like I'm accused of being like lazy or not like, oh well, use it or lose it, or you need to work this, you need to, but when I'm limping around because I can't fucking walk, I've learned to
Wait,
just
what do you
accept
mean you need
myself.
to work this?
Yeah,
The fuck
like
does that
you
mean?
like if you just give up and don't, and sometimes it's
So
just, you
victim
need to take care.
blaming.
Yeah,
Victim
you need to take
blaming.
care of yourself, right? And like, I was not allowed to have problems, like in the call, and even growing up. I mean, I showed up on the doorstep of my foster home, pulling my hair out, wetting my bed, crying all the time, a total fucking mess. God will cover everything, you know? No therapy, no nothing, no attention. I mean, there were 10 kids, right? You're a number. Get in the van and go to church.
I
Pile
don't
in.
understand why
Pile
people
in.
do that. Like, why do they adopt so many fucking kids and do that? What is that?
Well, it makes you feel like a good Christian. It's a status symbol. It does, I think that my parents really meant well. They really did try to love us, but we were a lot, and I had a lot of problems, and they were, I won't say they, it was my mother, it was my adopted mother. My dad was just, he was the only really one in my life, only one really in my life that I felt unconditional love for, but he let her wear the pants. And she just felt like, I mean, this is the 70s, right? It's early 80s, late 70s, where you didn't have like regulations with foster kids. Now you can't throw a trauma victim into a foster family with seven foster kids, three biological, and not have any therapy, not have your own room,
There's
nothing.
regulations on that now?
Now there, oh yes,
Oh, good.
absolutely.
Oh,
That's why
good.
Scientologists don't take in foster kids, because you have to give them therapy. You have to give them, if they're required to have, give them medication, like if there's prescribed something, you have to. And you know how Scientologists are very anti-medication, and even some
And
other religions too.
fundamentalist,
Also
sober
are.
people
Yep.
are. No,
Yep.
I've definitely known, like, it was usually like old men in the program, though, who are like, you can't take anything mind altering. So, like, if you take antidepressants, that's mind altering. Here is always my thing, though. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you not get a little fucking head rush and a good feeling from drinking 6 cups of coffee and smoking a pack of cigarettes? Because I sure as shit did when I got sober, motherfucker. I started smoking, like, I don't know. I already
My
smoked.
name
What's
is
up?
Marilyn.
What's up? And yeah, I mean, I started drinking. Okay, you guys know those monsters that are 1.5 times?
Our
It's
pain
like,
is
so
effing
it's like
sucky.
240 milligrams of caffeine or something. So a cup of coffee has like 50. So I would drink like 2 of those in a day. So like equivalent to like 10 cups of coffee. And like smoking menthols like a fiend. Tell me that I was not trying to fucking like alter my mind in some kind of way, and that every other fucking addict who gets into sobriety and starts drinking 9 Red Bulls a day is
My
not
name's Barb.
trying to
I'm a
alter.
SCTV addict. Everybody's confessing their addictions.
What's everybody addicted to? I love it.
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, we put it up at the same time.
Yeah. Starbucks.
Well, you guys also, I mean, fuck, I feel like a lot of people are addicted to something, kind of, it's called vices. Let's be real. Like,
Yeah.
let's chill out. We can have vices.
Well,
Life is
and
hard.
you can tell by looking at me that I like food. But if you saw my if you saw my part 2 of my story with Doug, I showed you the pictures, how I lost 40 pounds. I didn't really need to lose 40 pounds at the cult. I was starving, and you could see in my eyes and everything else. And Marlene looming over me, where she was, not to pick on her because, I'm plump myself, but she was sneaking food to her room while we were shrinking, and we were just, being
You
food
can pick
deprived,
on
sleep
Marlene.
deprived. Okay. Well, I want to
Fuck
show you guys
Marlene.
something.
She was
Go ahead. Keep
sneaking
talking.
food
I
to
want to
her
show you
room
something.
like a sneaky sneak. What a bitch.
Yep.
Wait,
And
somebody.
calling me a Jezebel and a harlot, and my daughter, 7-year-old daughter, a Jezebel. Just saying.
Mena,
Yep.
thank you. I also don't understand why getting high is looked down on. I am literally one of the most productive people I know, and I'm high all the fucking time. Like, I'm high right now.
I couldn't be. I don't know. I would just be staring at you guys like, I need to go to sleep. I'm hungry. I need to go to sleep.
I was like, I need to get a
When is
little
this
bit
going to be
high
over?
before this, because it's going to be like intense. Addicted to, wait, we have so many addicted to. Anyone else addicted to imposter syndrome? Hi, I'm Imposter Syndrome Barbie. You guys, there's this really great girl on Instagram who does Barbie like videos of different kinds of Barbies, and they're amazing. Okay, so we got my coffee crutches reel,
Mm-hmm.
cigarettes, scratcher tickets, caffeine, and knock. Is that nicotine?
That would be NIC, baby.
My cold pillowcase,
Okay.
shopping, which is, it's okay in moderation, but hey, you guys, love yourselves, love your bodies. Don't starve your bodies. Don't be mean to your bodies, okay? You guys, don't be mean to my friends. Fuck that.
That's right. I said that to my kids. I'm like, don't hurt my my little baby, my kids,
Yeah, I say
Don't be mean to my friends. Yeah, you're my friend.
Exactly.
Don't treat my friend that way. I get it.
I am clonazepam. Yeah, my sister was on that. I think it's a benzo, but it's a mild benzo. So Valium is also a milder benzo. Everybody's probably heard of Xanax because that's more of like a street party drug. Like people be like, you have any bars or whatever? I've been out of the drug scene for a long time. But
Did you see Steve-O's?
No, put it up. Oh. And I'm addicted to hanging out with all these groups. Strong, smart, sexy women and boneless wings. Yeah, thank you, Steve-O.
We love you, Steve-O.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
I just feel
get distracted.
I just feel like I'm like fucking motor mouthing, and I'm like, do these?
Can I show you
want me to talk anymore? Like you?
Can I show you my thumbnail I made this morning?
Yes.
Please. Did you see it yet? I sent it to you.
I did, but I think you should show everybody else. I'm so in the dark.
Let's see if I can do this. Okay. So this is going to be one of my morning musings coming up. Marlene versus Jezebel.
That's his and though.
Oh wait, there's a versus one. Okay, I changed it.
I thought that was like, I was like, why is it Marlene and Jezebel?
No, there's a versus. Okay. I changed it, but it didn't come up. I don't know what happened. But I'll fix it.
Marlene's right in the picture and it kind of looks like a clown nose. Is that on purpose?
Well, she was always standing over me. She was always standing over me, right? Mm-hmm. And like praying over me or just walking. I don't know. So like I just wanted Jezebel like kind of over her, like her just sitting there like a little
big Jezebel watching down on her.
Exactly. So that's going to be my morning musings. I will explain all about how I'm a Jezebel and why. So that'll be fun.
And Marilyn's definitely going to be a guest on my upcoming segment, Harlots and Jezebels, which is on my channel on YouTube, which is at Harlots Jezebels. It's actually, the channel is actually called Coercion and Control with Ashley Love Richards, but I changed my @ too many times. And they were like, you can't do that for 2 weeks. But one of the segments is going to be called Harlots and Jezebels.
This is your new shiny thing. Yeah.
It's my shiny new thing.
So this is how you find her channel easily. And if there's a mod in the chat that doesn't mind putting the link in, everybody please go over and subscribe to Ash. She's gonna have all kinds of different stuff on, right? You're gonna do Harlots and Jezebels, MLM, Scamerica.
No, the only two that I have planned right now are Harlots and Jezebels and United States of Scamerica. Because those are the ones that I came up with awesome titles for.
Yes.
Actually, credit to my boyfriend. He came up with United States of Scamerica, but and some credit to you for talking about how your 7-year-old was called a Jezebel, because I was like, let's talk about slut shaming because it even happens to 7-year-olds, and I just thought Harlots and Jezebels. Really
and we were told, like Jezebel in the Bible was eaten by dogs, and yes, isn't that nice? Yes. I'm going to go through, listen, my next morning musings, maybe I was going to do one about my lovely mom, Rose. Got some pictures and some
Wait,
articles
Jezebel
about
was
my mom.
eaten by.
Or
Dude, I
she
haven't heard the
was.
whole Bible yet.
Okay,
That's
I'm going
fucked,
to
man.
I'm going to go through the passage that was of course, Old Testament, and why I was such a Jezebel and how I was going to be eaten by dogs and thrown on the dung heap.
That
Just
is so
saying.
scary. You're like going to be
Yep.
eaten by dogs, thrown on a dung heap, and then go to
Shit
hell
pile.
for eternity.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck, you guys?
Hello from the dung heap. Guess what? I did end up on the dung heap, and I love it.
It's awesome.
The dung heap is fun.
It's
Yes,
smelly,
love
and we
the
let it all hang out.
We love the dung heap. Yeah, we do.
Thank you so much, Inappropriate Heifer. This has been one of the
Yeah.
best lives I've ever seen. Thank you, Ash and Marilyn. You both are a huge inspiration, and I am much grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you
Witness,
guys.
some of my favorite people are also harlots and Jezebels.
All right then. Jesus himself hung out with the harlots and the Jezebels.
Yeah,
He
so
did.
I mean, listen,
He
if you're
didn't like
on
the religious
fire,
people.
if you're on fire for JC, you guys, like,
Oh, I don't like. That's another one. I'm writing it down.
I just think it's so
literally,
funny.
I was on fire. I was on fire.
You on
Like, that's
fire
the
for
thing, too.
Christ.
No, I was on fire for real. And, telling
Oh
a
my
little
God,
kid,
right.
telling a little kid that they're going
Oh,
to burn forever and ever and ever if they don't do the right thing. That's not very nice to tell a fire victim. I'm not yelling at you.
no,
just saying.
I'm
But
like
on
having a
fire for
fucking
Christ,
revelation right now. Look at me. I just went into like a protective mode because I'm like, that's the scariest shit I've ever heard. They like took your trauma and then were like, guess what? If you do anything bad, which you do constantly, you're going to spend forever in that fucking situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Being
and
on fire. Okay.
they're
And
so mean
there's
to
on
kids.
fire for
I don't like
Christ,
that.
on fire for Christ, going all the way with Jesus. Like, doesn't that sound sexual? You need to go
You
all
guys-
the way.
I went all the way with Jesus last night, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. We kept it tight. So, right? What? Yeah, I think we should like wrap it up just because
Yes.
I'm feeling like
Yes.
I'm feeling a weird
That's
sense
a
of
good.
taking people's time even though they're here.
Yeah.
But also
we've been
I'm
going for
just
2
thinking-
hours and 30 minutes.
I
and you even let me
know.
go pee. 2 hours is usually my cap. Like, I gotta pee, guys.
Well, yeah,
So-
we had so much fun. And also I'm just thinking like, man, this is I don't know if I'd want to watch this replay. I'd be like 2.5
I think this
hours.
is
What
a
the
good-
fuck were they talking about?
I think this is a good time. Everybody's feeling
Yes.
happy. Everybody's
Feeling
kumbaya.
good.
All right, everybody.
Thank you guys. Have
Thank
a
you,
great
guys.
day.
We love
Thanks
you guys.
for coming.
Thanks. See you next time.
Bye.